9 tonight. That's not good. We've got rain moving in tomorrow, but the good news is we're going to be well above freezing. 48 degrees for that rain that falls about a 40% chance in the morning, turns into a 90% chance in the afternoon, 60% chance in the evening. Then after that 60% chance, we get down to 31 degrees. So we need for that rain to move out before we dip down to 31 degrees.
Yeah, 100%. And, I think we're getting past it, at least in terms of the weather. Whether we get past it in terms of the electricity remains to be seen, as there are still ongoing frustrations. There are ongoing outages. We will continue to discuss said same. We will talk with Senator Marsha Blackburn at 3:35 today. Let me signpost for a moment. I'm sure that Senator Blackburn has a few things to say about that and the possibility of a government shutdown. We will speak with Representative William Lamberth at 4:05 this afternoon. William Lamberth got throttled over the weekend on the X machine. I don't know if y'all saw it. He posted positive results from the state of Tennessee regarding illegal alien activity and the apprehension of illegal aliens and the removal of said same from our state. And in that post, he was discussing some of the types of criminal aliens that have been apprehended in this state and some of the successes, like the missing children that have been found. And X throttled him. They sent him a post saying, no, you can't post that. We don't like that at all. That's against our policies. Now, eventually that was handled, but it just goes to show you that even in the most robust free speech environments, sometimes the truth is hard to hear. William Lamberth will discuss that. We'll discuss the possibility of regionalizing NES board membership with William Lamberth and whether or not that's a possibility on the docket for the General Assembly. There has been a lot of discussion about that, and we will continue that discussion. Then at 5:05, our good friend Michael Lotfeet, who has been without power for these many days, will be with us in studio. Obviously, Michael is with Americans for Prosperity, and he does a lot of work over in the General Assembly, and he has been pushing the idea, as we have been. We talked about it last week, the possibility of regionalizing the NES board and getting it out of the hands of Davidson County and the woke members of the Metro Council. So that is that's the docket today. It's also Groundhog Day. We've got a lot to discuss away from the weather with regard to what's going on in Washington, D.C. and other matters. And you on the phones. Obviously, there are still people that are without power. Ken, what are we? Are we at around 25,000 households? Is that about right?
A little bit underneath that, Brother Murphy. Let me check the very latest here. I got 24,065.
2465. Way too many. So here's my analysis, and I would love to hear yours, 615-737-9986. If you remain in need for whatever reason, I'm thankful that the weather is warming up. So those without power, at least you're getting a little warmth away from the frigid, cold conditions that were what was present over the weekend. As I was unpacking boxes over the weekend, it occurred to me that everything that the Nashville Electric Service could do wrong, they did. Everything. And I don't need to necessarily get into the politics of the people elected to the board. I don't need to get into the politics of the CEO, although that is necessarily a part of the story based on some of their decision-making. But everything they did in regard to this winter storm was wrong. And if they just did one of those things right, maybe none of this happens. Or at least the level of frustration is mitigated. The level of outages is in some way mitigated. And sadly, when it became apparent that they were not prepared for the moment, nobody stepped up. It is not the role of the governor necessarily to step up, although the governor did what the governor could in signing his executive order authorizing that the Tennessee Department of Transportation would be able to help NES in their debris cleaning efforts. I suppose that the governor could have initiated a call to Freddie O'Connell to try to bring out the National Guard. I mean, I suppose. But that did not happen. But the mayor's office, while they have now expressed, quote-unquote, frustration, with the Nashville Electric Service, they didn't step up and command the lead. When it became apparent that those in positions of authority at Nashville Electric Service, I don't know any of these people. I don't care. It doesn't matter who they are. What matters is who they're hurting. And their inefficiency and their inabilities and their ignorance, it's now hurting people. What I mean when I say that if they had gotten at least one decision right, none of this might have happened. So this Applin lady comes in as CEO in 2022, and she immediately starts talking about canopy. She immediately starts talking about, she uses phraseology that makes it very, very clear to me where her focus is. She talks about sustainable resources or sustainability and these types of things, and clean energy and all these types of things. These are not the words of someone that comes from an energy background or an electricity background. Number two, she started talking about the canopy and the importance that Nashville placed on maintaining the canopy. Well, we could have a long-form discussion. I could talk to you for the next 4 hours about why that's probably a bad idea. While you certainly want to have a robust tree presence in your city, you also, your number one job as the CEO of Nashville Electric is to protect the electricity. And if you have to cut down some trees as a result of that, then you have to do that. And you do that in consultation with the elected leaders. You do that in consultation with the neighborhoods that you're dealing with. And there's a place to protect the canopy. But here's the deal. If you choose to do that, if that's your decision, hey, we want to make sure that these trees in Belmead are protected, or we want to make sure that these trees in Old Hickory are protected, or we want to make sure that everything looks nice and pretty and beautiful in the summertime in East Nashville, against the judgment of the arborists that would suggest that maybe those trees are a little bit too close to the power lines. If you do that, that's fine. But you have to understand the danger that you're putting the citizens in the next time that an ice storm comes through. And you see, you did the one and you didn't do the other. You decided that these trees were very, very important to you on the one end, and then on the back end, you staged less than 200 linemen to handle the unmitigated disaster that came with your decision on the front end to keep the trees. Y'all with me? Everybody with me? So if you decide to keep the trees, you have to be hypersensitive to ice storms. You should be up front 3 days before the storm comes here. And you should be standing before. How hard is this? Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, it has been a long-term policy of Nashville Electric Service to protect our trees and the beautification of our city. We believe in that policy, and we believe that the residents of Nashville, Tennessee benefit from it. However, with the impending ice storms, it must be said that we are at greater risk for limb breakage. We are at greater risk that trees are going to endanger the electricity in our system. Therefore, we beg of you to be aware of these things moving forward. And as a result of our decision on the front end to protect all of our trees, which apparently was very, very important to this CEO, she brought it up in almost every interview she did. If that's so important to you on the front end, how can you not be aware of the danger that it causes on the back end? So much so that not only should you should have not only staged more people than you did, you should have staged more people than other electrical companies did, because you knew that you had placed your customers at greater risk than other communities that didn't, quote unquote, protect the canopy. Am I making any sense? So not only are you allowing your environmental ideology to dictate your electric service decisions on the front end, you don't have the awareness of what your job is or how you just made the job of the lineman more difficult on the back end to stage an appropriate amount of people to respond to the disaster that you, in part, created. Everything you did was wrong. And I've not even mentioned the disastrous public relations response after the fact. If I have to hear any person from the Nashville Electric Service tell me that this was an unprecedented storm again, I'm going to throw up. This was not, repeat, not, underline, not an unprecedented storm. That is not to say that we would not have been without power if every right decision was made. That is not to say that this would not have been a challenging circumstance if they had done everything right. And that is not to say that in the past circumstances of events like this, 1994 comes to mind. I was not here at the time, but many of you were. Obviously, people go without power when events like this happen. But stop telling me that this is something that isn't so. Stop telling me that this is something that's never happened before when the people that are listening to you know very well that it has happened before. They're willing to put up with a little inconvenience. Hell, I feel like the people of the state of Tennessee are willing to put up with no power for a few days. They understand that too. But what we don't like happening is for you, madam, to stand before the people of Tennessee and blow sunshine up our ass. Which is exactly what we're getting out of you. And I find it fascinating that on programs like this and in the television outlets in this town, and maybe on, I don't know how the other guys are doing it on Super Talk, but maybe Chad's done it, maybe Chris has done it, maybe Dan Mandis of Nashville's Morning News. When everything seemed okay Monday and Tuesday of last week, Nashville Electric Service, when it was all going to be sunshine and roses, they were willing to come on and speak directly to the people. But suddenly, when the questions got a little bit harder, they disappeared. They're not answering anything. And I'm like, what in the hell? Do you not understand the basics of crisis management? That you get in front of it, that you admit that that decisions were made that perhaps were poorly decided, that things went wrong on the front end, but you're going to make it right on the back end? No. You just keep telling us that, well, this was unprecedented. I am grateful for the linemen. I'm grateful for the workers. I'm grateful for you men and you women that are busting your humps every single moment in the last 2 weeks or whatever it has been to do everything in your power to get the power back up and running. I'm sorry that you were not properly equipped. I'm sorry that as good as you are, that they are not enough of you or were not enough of you. I'm sorry that your management failed you. I'm sorry that the management of NES failed the many communities that they serve. And I'm here to tell you that heads will roll. I don't think Applin survives this, but sadly, I would almost guarantee you that she has some sort of parachute involved in her. I mean, hell, she just got a 10% raise last November. I saw somewhere that she makes in excess of $300,000 a year. Okay, so is she earning? This is where you earn that money, ma'am. Do you believe you're earning your money? You don't earn your money when you sit down for softball interviews and talk about the importance of sustainability and the canopy. You don't earn your money when you're sitting down and answering questions about how important it is for NES to protect the green space. You earn your money when people are cold and they're afraid and they're alone and they need power. And you have failed. You have failed. And no words will correct it. It'd be nice. It would be nice to hear a little honesty out of you. And it's time for leadership to step up and call it out. And Mayor O'Connell, I hear you. And I suppose you're doing the best that your bureaucratic brain can muster. But a blue ribbon panel that is going to initiate a task force that has a survey commission that's going to offer a sternly worded report 8 months from now is garbage. You need to take the lead. I haven't seen you do that yet. Oh, I saw you on a photo op move a couple of limbs around without a hat on in 20-degree weather, which looks frickin' ridiculous, Freddie. I mean, no offense there, Fred, but it looks grossly ridiculous that you do a photo op where you're walking around with a couple of tree limbs. You don't have any gloves on. You don't have an appropriate coat on, and you got no hat on, and it's less than 20 degrees outside. And, oh, but you're out there helping the workers. Whatever. All right, I've run late. And every time I run late today, we lose one less opportunity to celebrate Groundhog Day, and I'm sad about that. It's 25 after the hour on Super Talk.
3:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Right now in Nashville, NES says it still has 24,065 customers without power since the winter storm 9 days ago. Mayor Freddie O'Connell says this new commission he created to investigate the NES response will dig into what went wrong as the outages have lingered for days. He was asked today whether anyone in leadership at NES or the Metro board that governs them should be fired.
I have not yet evaluated what our opportunities are between the clarifications of asking for resignations versus firing. But I also feel like we are right now focused. We had, NES board and executive leadership present yesterday, and I know they understand exactly how clear I've been in my expectations for what's happening this week.
Channel 4's Hunter Hoagland with details on this new commission.
So 9 people, it's a mix of community leaders and experts in utilities, emergency response, and crisis communications will sit on this new commission. They'll work alongside the vice mayor and Metro Council's president pro temp. The mayor says he wants the recommendations as soon as possible with a final report expected within 6 months.
NES says it now has the ability to let customers know when power has been restored through the residential service status tracker. It says is at nespower.com. Water issues are the next concern, but not the quality, according to Deputy Director Brent Freeman.
Water quality here in Nashville community remains safe.
He says all pumping stations and reservoirs are working properly. However,
As the temperatures rise, for us, the emergency is not over.
yeah, he says thawing is going to cause water main breaks, which will mean outages. But he says they've got ample crews on standby to respond when and where needed water outages occur. That's the latest news, traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, got that crash 24 eastbound near Murfreesboro Pike on Interstate 65. We've got an injury crash southbound at Trinity Lane. Another one 65 southbound after Vietnam Veterans Boulevard. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Efficient Heating and Cooling. My man Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling want you to reach out to them if there's any issue with your heater over the course of the winter. Obviously, we've just gone through some bitterly cold conditions. A brief respite over the next several days, but it'll get back cold. I mean, well, I say respite. I mean, it's still cold outside. You still need your heater. If it's not working properly and you know it, you need to call someone you can trust that'll get it fixed without recommending a replacement necessarily. Now, it might be time to replace, and if that's the case, Jeff Eddy and his team at Efficient Heating and Cooling, they're an Elite Pro partner with Rheem, and they can recommend you an excellent unit that will benefit you and your family. But if it's not time, let's save some money by fixing what ails your system right now with Efficient Heating and Cooling. They've done it for me in my new Mount Pleasant home, and I'm certain they can do it for you as well. Call Jeff Eddy and his team at Efficient Heating and Cooling today. EfficientHVAC.net. EfficientHVAC.net is the website. The number, 615-784-4424, 784-4424 for our friends at Efficient. Okay, campers, rise and shine, and don't forget your booties because it's cold out there today.
It's cold out there every day. What is this, Miami Beach?
Not hardly, and expect hazardous travel later today with that don't turn the music down, Jackson, that blizzard thing.
Oh, that blizzard thing. Well, here's the report. The National Weather Service is calling for a big old blizzard thing.
Yes, they are, but there's another reason why today is especially exciting.
Especially
cold, okay, but the big question on everybody's lips.
Their chapped lips.
Their chapped lips, that's right. Do you think Phil's going to come out and see his shadow?
Punxsutawney Phil.
That's right, Woodchuck Chuckers. Hey, it's Groundhog Day! Yeah, that fun? Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun?
It's still fun.
Isn't that fun? That's good. Yeah, that's fun.
It's fun.
Right now, Senator Marsha Blackburn has no idea what's going on, but it's fun.
She does.
It's fun.
She's probably thinking, do I want to do this?
Have they lost their ever-loving minds?
Well, maybe. It does feel like, sadly, in all seriousness, it feels like Groundhog Day again because we're here to report to you that there are thousands upon thousands of Nashville homes that remain without electricity, and that's a very serious matter. We're having some fun with Groundhog Day, but that's very serious. And here to speak on that is Senator Marsha Blackburn. She joins us once again on the Matt Murphy Show. Senator Blackburn, happy Groundhog Day. I hope you're doing well.
I am doing well, and yes, indeed, it seems like what we see now is NES, which, of course, that's a part of Metro government, and they had their Super Bowl, if you will, and it was how they were going to deal with the ice storm. And out of the 470,000 customers they serve, about half of them lost their power. And, Matt, if you have a 50% fail rate, that is something totally not acceptable. It means you don't have redundancies, you don't have resiliency in your network, and of course, they were just not up to the challenge. Because of that, we've got 23 Tennesseans that have lost their lives. We have people that are on their 9th day of being out of their homes. And I have heard from so many people. We're doing all we can. I know the governor has deployed the National Guard, the THP, TEMA is hard at work, and I think people are really concerned about the way the city of Nashville and Nashville Electric Service have responded to this.
Well, I would agree with you, Senator, and I know that you've been speaking on this matter since it happened. You are as concerned as the rest of us. The question is, are we at a stage where, obviously we want to get the power back on. Is there anything more that we can ask of the governor? Is there anything more that we can ask of regional resources? Or are we at this stage left with waiting on NES to finish this up before we can, clearly there's going to be a postmortem. Clearly there's going to be an opportunity to look at some folks and see where the failures happen, because people have to be held responsible, do they not?
Oh, absolutely. They're going to have to be held responsible. And when you're doing 102 DEI trainings and you're cutting the tree trimming budget by $7 million, whacking it by 30%, what kind of preparations were you making? Were you not listening to the weather report? Because for days they were saying snow, sleet, then freezing rain. You couldn't go to Kroger or Publix and find anything. The shelves were empty. People were making their plans. And for half of the people that you serve in your network to lose their power, and many still not have power, this is completely unacceptable. And it's like they prepped for the wrong storm, and they knew what was going to happen. They've got one job. It is to keep the lights on.
Right.
And keep that power on. And they did not do it. And as we do the post-mortem, Matt, I was talking with the CEO of NES, and I said, look, the good Lord gave us hills and valleys. He gave us great big hardwood trees. He gave us rocky limestone soil. Those are our opportunities and our challenges. Your job is to figure out when something adverse happens, how you keep the lights on, how you keep power up. And if you're not preparing and doing the things that are necessary, It's like after the 94 ice storm, and Chuck and I, of course, lived through that one.
Mm-hmm.
There was all this talk about putting utilities underground. And then that sort of dissipated. Some builders started doing it, but not every builder. And I said, I told somebody today even, I said, look, if they can't figure out how to trench utility through limestone, what they need to do is go talk to somebody at the boring company, because they're building a tunnel through limestone. Get some advice. Start to think through this process and make some plans and focus on your core mission. And to say, well, we're not taking certain crews that have offered to come help because they don't understand our system. Well, I bet you they know how to set a pole. I bet you they know how to pull wire. I bet you they know how to do cut and toss with trees that are in the way. There are all sorts of support things that they can do. And I think what we've gotten from NES is poor communication. Even Mayor Freddie said, they were ill-equipped to communicate with people what was going on. And we have to realize it's just not Metro Nashville alone. You've got other counties that they go into these other counties in their service area. And people were left with basically no information, and no one seemed to be calling the shots. And you'd hear one thing from one person at NES, and then you'd turn around and, a half hour later, you were hearing something else. So people are they're understandably upset, and they should be. And I know there are a lot of conversations with a lot of people out there that are saying, okay, our taxes went up with Metro, and this NES service, they're talking about asking for tax abatements. They're talking about asking for refunds. We have done our part to make certain that FEMA, those services are here. I went over Saturday and did some work with TEMA. And I would encourage anybody listening, if they are needing help, call their county office of emergency management. Those are the individuals that are going to have the information that you need on where to go, where they're going to set up the FEMA service centers and things of that nature.
Senator Marsha Blackburn fired up with us today talking about the outages and the failures involved in the Nashville electric system. You mentioned that you spoke with the CEO, Teresa Broyles-Applin. I'm not asking you for any specifics of that conversation, but do you get a sense of contrition? Do you get a sense that she is frustrated? Do you get a sense that she understands the magnitude of this failure?
I will say I think that her position is reflected in the response she gave to the letter that I sent over to her. And I just did not, and that is on my website and on my social media. And Matt, I got to tell you, it's just like, this is what we're doing, and it's still not enough. And when you look at the growth that we have had in Tennessee, and when you look at the necessity of building out that infrastructure to meet that growth and making that infrastructure resilient and focusing on how you meet that growth rather than focusing on all these other things. I just, sometimes you'll say somebody's been watching the wrong ball. And
yeah.
I think that they were off into things that were not about keeping the power on. And because of that, we've seen this. In the letter she sent me, she said they had 230 NES linemen and 984 contract workers. Well, why didn't they have these contract workers in here immediately? If they didn't do the tree trimming and they knew that was going to be a problem, why didn't they take the 8 or 9 days advance notice we had on this
100%.
and get crews out trimming some of these limbs in areas where they generally lose the power.
And I said this earlier, Senator, and you could not be more correct. I said this earlier. It's one thing to decide, to make a decision on the part of your company not to do trimming and to, quote unquote, protect the canopy. We might disagree with that, but if you know you did that, why in the world would you not stage more workers on the front end? Because you know what the consequences are going to be when ice hits those trees.
That's exactly right. And see, the thing is, you have historical data on this. The 1994 storm was very close in equivalence to this that we have had. And you know what is going to happen. We knew we've got a bunch of trees out here, and we knew what was going to happen. We took some steps to prepare, and NES should have been doing the same thing. They should have been contracting with people on the front end. You know, she says in her letter, they have 346 vegetation management personnel. That's tree trimmers.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't they have 600? Because you've got people like my family, they grabbed chainsaws and they got out there to help people and started cutting trees. And NES should have had people lined up to get out here where they knew there was going to be a problem. But most importantly, going back to that original point, Matt, if you've got 470,000 customers and you've got half of them that lose their power, you've got a problem
Amen.
with how you have prepped. You've got a problem with resiliency. You've got a problem with redundancy, and you have not been focused on the fundamentals.
Do you believe
everybody's jumped in? TVA's jumped in, the governor, the National Guard, the Tennessee Highway Patrol, and God bless all these linemen.
Yes.
And all
Amen.
of these tree trimmers that are out there, and neighbors, volunteers. We are the volunteer state. People that have been out here working in single digit and 15, 16-degree weather to try to help people get to safety, to take care of neighbors that are elderly, to help people that are on dialysis, people that are in hospice. This was avoidable, and I think that the postmortem on this is going to go on for a while.
Finally, Senator, and I know you're a little bit limited on time, but I do have to ask you, I mean, you know, obviously you are running to be the next governor of the state of Tennessee. There have been calls by myself and others to regionalize Nashville Electric Service. It not only serves Davidson County, but 6 surrounding counties. Those folks have no one to turn to. They don't have any elected officials that they can speak to regarding the inefficiency of the board or the inefficiency of the CEO. Is it time to consider regionalizing the board of NES, or at least the appointment to that board to make it more of a regional apparatus as opposed to a Davidson County only?
Yeah, you know, I was thinking about this today as I was reading through some things on this situation with the NES, and we have a regional transit authority, and you have to do something because there are people in the other counties, like I said earlier, whose power comes from NES, but then they have no way to get information. And here's another thing. People were calling NES and nobody was answering the phones, and you couldn't get in the information that your power was out. Their system, I guess, is so antiquated, they couldn't handle the volume of text messages and phone calls and emails that they were getting. So we were doing all we could to help people because I said, at least we answer the phones and we try to get information. That's the reason I sent her a letter and said, get me some responses back so I can make it public and we can get information to people. And I know some of our mayors over in Rutherford County and Williamson County and other areas, they've been trying to send emails out to people to give them the information they had, because they couldn't get anything out of NES. So this is going to take a while to work through this, making certain that they are prepared and that they are focusing on keeping the power on.
Amen.
It's going to have to be their top priority. I think it has been incredibly dangerous for so many people. And to think about these families, kids are going back to school. I was talking to a mom and she said, you know, we've got an overpriced Hampton Inn room. It's 4 of us. We're in the room. The kids are going to have to do homework, and we're trying to figure everything out. We don't know when our power's coming on. They're saying it could be February 9th, and people are incredibly frustrated. I understand it, and we've done the declaration at the federal level. Thank goodness the president approved Governor Lee's request when it came in. FEMA is here. They are on the ground. TEMA is working, and I would hope we see more of a response from NES and more of a response from Metro government, and I do appreciate that Mayor Freddie called them out.
Senator, final question, and it's a simple one. Does NES need new leadership?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. You know, when you look at whomever thought they were prepared for this storm, oh, yes.
Okay.
You know, this is going to be up to the mayor. And I think it is time to do a revisit of how they are staffed and organized, because they had a great big miss, and people are suffering, and businesses have lost, they haven't been able to open the door, and people have lost their lives.
That's right. That's right. Well, Senator, great to talk with you. I know you're fired up about it, as you should be, as we all are, and we'll talk again very, very soon. But thank you for your leadership on this.
Great. Thank you.
All right, take care. There's Senator Marsha Blackburn. You heard her. She said, yeah. I asked the question, she answered. Should there be new leadership? Yes. Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, I said it 3 times.
Said it 3 times. So there you go. Thankfully, and I look, I'm appreciative of people like Senator Marsha Blackburn, but Freddie needs to call on that too. We need to get this lady out of here and get some better leadership that understands an electrical grid in service to this community. It's 5 minutes until the top of the hour on Super Talk 99.7 W10. Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy. Better Water is a big Brita filter for the house, right? I mean, and it gets clean water, scalable from under the sink to entire house application. You know, I'm having them out to the palatial Murph-a-Lago in Mount Pleasant, Tennessee, and they're going to get the sulfur and the iron and the chlorine and the bacteria and anything that might be in the water out of the water, offering a full range of water treatment options for you, like reverse osmosis, water softener, specialized filters, UV lights. I'm excited because when I get the Better Water folks out there, I'm going to ask them a bunch of questions, and they're going to lend their expertise into what I need in Murph-a-Lago. So they're based out of Smyrna. They treat all of Middle Tennessee. These are the guys that treat the water at the coffee shops, at so many of the businesses, at hospitals around town, and now they can treat yours. BetterWater.com. That's BetterWater.com. Or better yet, give them a call. Tell them I sent you to Better Water LLC, 615-355-6063. Serving this community for now 55 years. It's Better Water.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Right now in Nashville, nearly 24,000 still without power 9 days after the winter storm. And NES says these outages are going to linger through this weekend. Tennessee U.S. Senator and gubernatorial candidate Marsha Blackburn was asked by WTN's Matt Murphy moments ago if leadership at NES needs to be fired.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. You know, when you look at whomever thought they were prepared for this storm, oh, yes.
Well, Mayor Freddie O'Connell says he has signed an executive order that creates a commission that will review NES's response to the winter storm.
The commission will have the power to conduct hearings and request assistance from the Metro Auditor. They'll have investigative powers, including the ability to compel the attendance of witnesses and the production of records pertinent to the investigation of any hearing, and to administer oaths to witnesses.
Channel 4's Jeremy Finley questioned Mayor O'Connell on the NES CEO being granted a 10% raise by the board in November and whether rates are going to go up to pay for restoration.
The CEO of NES was approved for a 10% pay increase in November. Do you believe anyone from NES management should resign as a result of how this was handled?
This is going to be ultimately a question for the NES board, where we've only had 2 appointments this term. We're going to put plenty of after action into this. The commission we're announcing today, I know for the NES board will want to review their own performance for this. I think in the middle of the crisis, we're focused on getting power restored, and when we get there, we'll start to ask a lot more questions.
Will NES customers ultimately have to pay more on their bills to pay for this storm?
I've gotten no indication of that, but I think there are also a lot of things about the disaster recovery process that they'll have to go through. But right now, we've not had any indication that this would result in a jump in bills.
Meanwhile, 2 Metro Council committees are going to meet jointly next week to investigate what went wrong, and NES reportedly will take part. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Glencliff got a crash 24 eastbound past Briley Parkway South. I-40 westbound at Fessler's Lane. Police working a crash there. Then 65 northbound at Harding Place. Cedar Hill, the scanners reporting a crash 24 eastbound before Maxey Road. And in Clarksville, a crash reported 24 westbound near Rossview Road. Nashville, we got a wreck, Spence Lane at Elm Hill Pike. I'm Ken Weaver.
Okay, campers, rise and shine, and don't forget your booties because it's cold out there today.
It's cold out there every day. What is this, Miami Beach?
Not hardly. And you can expect hazardous travel later today with that, that blizzard thing.
Oh, that blizzard thing. Oh, well, here's the report. National Weather Service calling for a big blizzard thing.
Yes, they are. But, there's another reason why today is especially exciting.
Especially cold.
Especially cold, okay. But the big question on everybody's lips.
Their chapped lips.
On their chapped lips, right. Do you think Phil's going to come out and see his shadow?
Punxsutawney Phil?
That's right, Woodchuck Chuckers. It's Groundhog Day! Yeah!
Matt,
Hey, Jackson.
are we doing this crap all day?
Well, Jackson, it's Groundhog Day.
It's Groundhog Day, brother.
Come on now. Great movie. Great
Okay.
movie. By the way, Ken.
Yes, sir.
Fabulous rendition.
Well,
Thank you, Ken.
Well,
Thank you.
I thought Brother Jackson did a good job, too.
Like I say, Ken, you did a great job. Great job. Well done. A lot
Ken
of
has
enthusiasm.
probably seen the movie in the last 10 years.
Oh, I have.
Oh, yeah. I saw it this morning. I got up this morning, turned it on. They play it all day long on like TNT or something. Love that. One of my top 10s.
It's a great movie.
Great film. Great film. Right now, just as Senator Marsha Blackburn was very confused about what the hell's going on, I imagine that Representative William Lamberth, the House Majority Leader in the General Assembly, is probably equally confused. But hopefully he's seen Groundhog Day and he kind of gets it. We are pleased to be rejoined by Representative William Lamberth this afternoon. William, how's it going, brother?
Phil? Hey, Phil. Phil, Connor?
Phil? That's good. That's good.
Phil? I don't know, man, but every time I hear that song, it makes me want to buy some life insurance or something,
It does me too, brother. It does me too.
It's a fantastic movie, and if you don't watch it at least once a year, then there's something wrong with you. But I will admit this. I think that little furry fart probably saw its shadow today, which means 6 more weeks of winter.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why in Tennessee we have groundhog season. We don't actually listen to the groundhog for weather prediction.
It's my understanding the
open season on groundhogs pretty much year round. So
we're going to talk to somebody later on that's eating some groundhog. I want to know what it tastes like. That's what I want. That's what I
imagine that. It'd be like eating a large rat.
Well, yeah, it's like a marmot. Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah, it's not good. So not having tasted groundhog, I don't want to judge. But at the same time, I do think that the groundhog saw its shadow earlier today. And given what we've gone through in the last week, I don't think any of us are ready for any additional winter. I'm done with winter.
Yeah, me too.
Yes,
me
sir.
too, man. Me too. Well, I want to talk. Let's start there because I want to talk about what happened to you on the X machine because you had some explosive data that you sent out over the weekend, and then somehow it got spiked. I don't know what happened there, but we'll figure that out. But let's start with the weather. I mean, obviously there have been bad decisions made. There was a lack of preparation. It has turned to disaster. A lot of finger pointing going on, rightly so. But in leadership in the General Assembly, Representative Lamberth, I ask you, is this going to create a dynamic by which the General Assembly wonders if it is not time to regionalize Nashville Electric Service as opposed to the sole appointing authority going to the city of Nashville, particularly considering that there are 6 other counties that have been impacted by a lack of leadership with that organization?
Matt, I'll tell you, it's been a problem for a long time that you've got a bunch of woke liberals that are running NES. And look, this in no way takes away from the phenomenal linemen and road crews and first responders and folks with National Guard and with TDOT that have helped assist NES. But even the mayor of Nashville has publicly stated that he is concerned about the leadership over there. And so I think they've got a lot of really hardworking people that are trying hard to do their jobs, but they're being stymied by some bad leadership. And so we've looked at this before, but with 23 Tennesseans dead from this ice storm, and the vast number of those were preventable, in my opinion. And so we're going to wait until we have everyone back online, that power is restored to every Tennessean, that cleanup is at least underway, and that we've mourned these 23 dead and hope and pray that no additional Tennesseans die from this. And then we're going to dig into this, and we're going to find out what happened, and we're going to do everything we can at the state level to make sure it doesn't happen again.
That's well said. Do you believe that this merits, based on what we know now, new leadership at NES?
Well, I would have said that before this ice storm. I mean, I was all about the leadership before. So, I mean, this doesn't all this does is bear out that, I mean, we're disappointed in the folks that are leading there. Now, please hear me out. I know some of the rank and file folks that work for NES. They are good, hardworking Tennesseans that have been going through hell in this frozen tundra of what has been Middle Tennessee over the past week and a half now. And it should never take away from the work that they have put in. Bad leadership does not mean bad service from all of those folks that have barely slept over the past week and are trying so hard to serve us. And so it is a leadership problem. It is not a service problem from the folks that work there.
Shifting gears here to some other matters important to the state of Tennessee, Representative. Obviously, you released some incredible information over the weekend. And as a side note, somehow that info got throttled briefly. I know on the X machine. I don't know if it got throttled elsewhere. It's where I saw it. Let's talk about this info for a moment. I think it was the District Attorney's Conference that released their reports on crime, and you released some of this information. And it is stark and striking, the number of violent offenders that we have apprehended in the state of Tennessee. Just talk to us about this release that you had this weekend.
So, Matt, this all started when 2 years ago, really, we were talking at the legislature about illegal immigrants, and we wanted to know how many crimes that had been committed by illegal immigrants. And so we passed a bill, and it made it the law, that the Tennessee District Attorney General's Conference, I mean, that's the, your district attorney is your chief law enforcement officer in each particular district. And so we forced it and required that they, every January, give us a report of how many illegal immigrants have committed crimes in this state. And those numbers came out at 9 a.m. on Saturday. And the only thing that I did on X and on other social media platforms was to report the facts, the same thing you try to do every single day and the same thing you do very well. And what those numbers came back is from January 1st of last year to December 31st of 2025, there were 21,648 total criminal charges by illegal immigrants. That included 41 homicides. There are 41 people dead today in Tennessee and 41 families that will suffer for generations because their loved one was killed by an illegal immigrant. Those are numbers that no one can argue with. That happened. Those cases are pending right now in the court system. There are 41 homicides that occurred. There's 2,183 violent offenses, including 1,592 assaults, many of them domestic or assaults on officers. There's 145 sexual offenses, including 11 child rapes. And, Matt, as you'll recall, and I came on your show before and talked about this, I passed a bill last year that said some of those rapists that rape children will face the death penalty in Tennessee. The worst of the worst will face the death penalty here, as they should. But there's 11 children that were raped by illegal immigrants in this state. There's 40 aggravated kidnappings, 2,920 DUIs. Every single time somebody drives under the influence, they're operating a 3,000-pound bullet that's just barreling down our highways waiting to kill somebody. But there's also 5,318 cases of driving without a license. Many of those folks are not insured. They're not licensed. They shouldn't be on the roadway. And it gave all the countries where these folks are from, and I posted a link to it. And so after 100,000 people had viewed that, enough liberals got offended by the facts that I guess they reported me to X, and some AI bot put me in Twitter jail for about an hour or so. And then Robbie Starbuck and Jeremy Faison and Jason Zachary and others all tagged Elon Musk. And I'm so glad he bought the platform, because within about an hour he had commented on Robbie's post, and I was out of Twitter jail. And now I think there's about 150,000 people that have seen that data. But I wish everybody go look at it. It's on the Tennessee District Attorney General's website. It's out there on social media. We should all look at these numbers, because every single one of these, almost 22,000 crimes, could have been prevented if these folks had been deported before they committed the crime.
Well, it just goes to the point that you and I and so many have been making over the years. And thankfully, we now have a president of the United States that seems to be taking this seriously, that if we have a federal government that follows the law as passed by the Congress, as signed by past presidents, works in conjunction with states like Tennessee that are ready, willing, and able to get something done about this, you get them out on the front end, and you don't have this criminal element breaking the law on the back end and ruining lives, killing people, and destroying families.
Amen. Preach it. And I'll tell you, there could not be more of a stark contrast between Minneapolis and Memphis. Because in Memphis, 2 years ago, there were 397 murders. This past year, I think there were about 160. We're still waiting for the final numbers on that. It's gone down dramatically because we have Republicans and Democrats alike. We have city, county, state, and federal agencies that are all working together, including the Guard, but not limited to that. It's everybody working together to work on community safety. That shouldn't be a partisan thing. That shouldn't be something that is politicized. That shouldn't be something that is controversial. All of us should want every single one of our friends and neighbors in this state to live in a safe community. And you cannot do that if you have folks that are here illegally. We encourage folks to legally immigrate to this country. We're a nation of immigrants. We want people to come here, the best and the brightest from all over the world, and the hardest working and folks that really want to buy into the American dream. We want you here, but you can't come illegally, because when that happens, you get numbers like these, almost 22,000 crimes that have committed, because you started out coming into the country illegally.
Well said. Representative William Lamberth with us for a few more moments. Great data, and go and follow him on social media. I would go on the X machine at William Lamberth, and you can find those numbers, and I've retweeted or reposted those numbers for those that are interested in them. We having a State of the State address tonight, Representative?
Absolutely, and it's going to be a good one. And I do want to give you one little, before we hit the State of the State, I want to give your listeners a little preview that nobody else knows about yet.
All right.
But when you look at the data on these crimes that have been committed by illegal immigrants, one thing is going to jump off the page at you: the Shelby County numbers. So Nashville had a few thousand crimes that occurred in Nashville, and they reported those that committed crimes by illegal immigrants. Memphis had a few hundred. And that's simply impossible. So we started digging into that data almost as soon as literally as soon as we got it. I started making some phone calls, and it was just a data entry error. And so this report will be amended soon to include accurate data from Memphis. And again, I'm not blaming anybody down there. They immediately jumped on it. When you see the numbers, it stands out. It's like, mathematically, that just doesn't seem possible that their numbers could be that low. So this report will be updated soon, and I look forward to coming back on air when that happens. But I can virtually guarantee you it's going to go up significantly, which is a bad thing, but we want true data. We just want to know how many crimes are out there, how many crimes are being committed out there by illegal immigrants, and then we know the number one way to prevent that is to deport these folks.
Well, and already I'm getting on our platform, the Super Talk text line, questions like, what percentage of total crime is attributed to illegals in Tennessee versus legal residents? My answer, I don't want to get in front of yours, William, but my answer is, why does that matter? Illegal alien crime should be zero, because there should be zero illegal aliens.
Amen, brother. But I'll tell you this. If they want to go down that road, I understand that question, more than happy to take it. But let's just look at the murders. I mean, there were 41 homicides, okay? That makes up roughly 9% of all homicides that occurred last year. The illegal immigration population is a little bit difficult to put a specific number on. But let's just say if there were roughly 456 homicides last year in the state of Tennessee, 41 homicides is going to be about 9%, right? Well, illegal immigrants make up somewhere around 2% of the population. So even if you just look at the people that have been killed in this state, illegal immigrants far outpace the percentage of the population in the number of Tennesseans that they have murdered. So I can go down all of these statistics and look at it, but you don't have to trust me on it. If you've got listeners out there that in the old Reading Rainbow show, they tell you, if you don't believe me, just go read a book. I mean, go look at the report, go look at what the TBI puts out, do the numbers on your own. But I love your answer better than anyone I would have given on this. That's 41 homicides that never should have occurred. That's 41 families that are suffering and will suffer for generations, and all 41 of them could have been prevented. So the number should be 0 there.
Just to put a point on it, yes. So the 41 represents 9% of the total homicides in 2025.
That's our preliminary numbers.
Okay.
That there were 456 murders last year in this state, homicides, and that 41 of those were committed by illegal immigrants.
Very good.
So again, rough math, 9%.
Right.
So to the state of the state, look, this is the governor's last state of the state. I fully anticipate for this to be a very emotional state of the state for him. The governor is a dear friend of mine. Even when I disagree with him, I almost kind of feel bad about it because we are such good friends, and he is a very, very good person. He's done a great job through pandemics and hurricanes and floods and tornadoes and ice storms, and has dealt with all of that with love and compassion and leadership. Tonight, I think you're going to hear a lot about education. You're going to hear a lot about infrastructure. You're going to hear a lot about the excitement we have in Tennessee that our country turns 250 years old this year, and just a lot of what we're going to be doing here in this state. I think it'll be a very uplifting state of the state, and I think you'll see that unlike our friends in California that are facing a multi-million-dollar deficit in their budget, we again will have a budget surplus this year where we spend less than what you send in your tax dollars, and we spend it wisely, and we will continue to do that in the next year under Governor Lee and next year under Governor Blackburn.
Well, we look forward to the governor's address and some of the proposals that he has. He has, his office tells me, and the governor himself has told me that he planned. This is not a ceremonial year for him. He wants to finish strong and do some good things for the state. And I know that the General Assembly has his back in that regard. We so appreciate you being willing to come on and speak directly to the people about matters including illegal immigrations, matters including electricity and NES, and obviously the State of the State address that's happening later on tonight. William, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you again very soon.
Matt, thank you very much. I appreciate everything you do to get the word out there in Tennessee. My only regret is I'm not on here more often, and that is my fault, not yours, and I'm going to have to remedy that. So thank you, my friend, and good to talk to you.
All right, good to speak with you, too. There's Representative William Lamberth, one of the few people that I have on this radio show that talks faster than I do, and that's a compliment coming from me. William gets it out there where the goats can graze on. It's 23 after the hour. Larry and Jeff and another Jeff. We'll get to you if any other Jeffs want to call us. 615-737-9986. It's Super Talk.
Nashville, we've got 24,000 people still without power 9 days after the winter storm. Tennessee U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn says leadership at NES has to go. Mayor Freddie O'Connell, well, we'll tell you what he said today, coming up at 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Okay, cameras, rise and shine, and don't forget your booties because it's cold out there today.
It's cold out there every day. What is this, Miami Beach?
Not hardly. And, you can expect hazardous travel later today with that blizzard thing.
Oh, that blizzard thing. Well, here's the report. The National Weather Service is calling for a big blizzard thing.
Yes, they are. But, there's another reason why today is especially exciting.
Especially cold.
Especially cold, okay. But the big question on everybody's lips.
They're chapped lips.
Right. Do you think Phil's going to come out and see his shadow?
Punxsutawney Phil.
That's right, Woodchuck Chuckers.
It's Groundhog Day.
Day.
Hey, Matt.
Yes, Jackson.
Our boss told us not to do this.
What? Huh?
He told us this year we're not allowed to do this.
No, it's all good. It's fine. No, I talked with him.
I'm concerned for our jobs.
No, I saw him in the hall. It's good. It's
Are
fine.
you sure? Because he told me in no specific terms we weren't supposed to do this.
Phil Connors? No, it's all good, Jackson. We'll be okay. Do I need to find someone else? Are you a little concerned?
I am very concerned.
We can find somebody else.
Over your mental state.
I'll find somebody else for the 4:35. How about that? I don't want to put you at risk, Jackson. I don't want you to do anything you're uncomfortable with.
Weaver, you stop laughing because it's all of us.
Ken loves this movie.
Matt's lost his mind.
No, it's all good.
He got that Mount Pleasant air and it infected him.
It's Groundhog Day.
It is Groundhog Day.
It's Groundhog Day. Oh,
Where's
man,
the toaster
man.
when you need it?
Oh my goodness, that's a great scene. I love this scene where he's sitting there, he's giving up hope. And he's sitting there watching Jeopardy for the gajillionth time, and he knows all the answers. And he looks at, and he's answering all the questions. Everybody's all the old people like, ooh. And then he slowly turns to the lady, and even before they ask the question, he answers it.
Yeah.
And he's like looking at her, and she starts slowly backing away from him. And then he slugs, and then he takes the bottle of Jack Daniels and starts just drinking from the bottle.
Why doesn't he go buy a lottery ticket?
Oh, he does all that. He steals money from the bank.
Yeah.
He times the bank money. That's one of the first things he does. He times that bank heist.
Yeah.
And goes out and buys himself a car. And then he goes and gets drunk with those good old boys and gets on the railroad tracks. Remember that? Oh, it's so good. All right. I don't have Jeff. I got a bunch of Jeffs and a Larry and a Tammy, and I'm going to get to you. I've got, and we've got time. We've got a caller segment coming up to talk about NES and any other thing that you want to discuss. But that's right after the news, and the news happens now, fellas, on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast traffic in 5 minutes. Right now in Nashville, nearly 24,000 people still without power 9 days after the winter storm. In Tennessee, U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn telling WTN's Matt Murphy show she is firmly in the yes column when asked if leadership at NES needs to be removed based on the response to the storm.
This is going to be up to the mayor. And I think it is time to do a revisit of how they are staffed and organized because they had a great big miss.
Yeah, it is Mayor Freddie O'Connell's call, and he's created a new commission to investigate how NES was prepared and responded.
I've asked the commission to return their initial findings to my office as soon as possible, with a final boundary at 6 months, and to be in constant communication with us, providing regular updates.
Yeah, he says this commission will have the power to conduct hearings and request assistance from the Metro Auditor and have the power to compel the attendance of witnesses and production of records pertinent to the investigation and administer oath to the witnesses. Meanwhile, water service is the next concern. Metro Water Services Deputy Director Brent Freeman says,
Number one, water quality here in Nashville community remains safe. Secondly, we will continue to coordinate with TDEC and our state partners anytime any sort of questions arise as it relates to the water quality in our system.
And the bad news, possibly?
As the temperatures rise, for us, the emergency is not over. In fact, as the ground shifts, we anticipate an increase in the number of water main breaks.
He told the briefing today they had at least 12 active repairs and they were investigating as many as 14 other issues. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, 24 eastbound before Haywood Lane. Got a crash on the right shoulder. 24 in Clarksville going westbound. A wreck right there at Rossview Road. Over there by Arrington. Got a stalled vehicle. Left shoulder block there in Williamson County. 840 eastbound at Horton Highway. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Does your back hurt? Does your neck hurt? Knees, elbows, hips, shoulders, wherever it hurts. Did you know that Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley, and the rest of the team at the Wellness Institute can help you? Of course they can. This is why Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley are my doctors, why I want them to be your doctors. Friends, the Wellness Institute of Nashville is all about it. Give them a call to find out the latest techniques. They have the Hydro Wave, which is an incredible device that only is found at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. It can stimulate your own stem cells in your body to regenerate tissue, to grow new blood vessels, to through a healing process called angiogenesis. That's a fancy way of saying you heal quicker, you hurt less, and it eliminates the pain without having to pop pills, without having to consider needles or surgery. That's what it is all about. Friends, call today at 615-246-5009, 246-5009, or online at painisbad.com. That's painisbad.com. For our friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville, be sure to tell them that Matt Murphy sent you to the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Hey, friends, Matt Murphy here, and I want to talk to you about something very important to you and your family, and that is the protection of your property, to the protection of the people that you care about most. I'm talking about Nashville Safe House. Do you have a safe that protects those valuables that you love so much, the sentimental items, or perhaps the guns that ultimately protect you and your family? Or maybe you've got them for sports shooting. Whatever the case may be, the bottom line is this, that the Nashville Safe House has the right safe for you. They've got hundreds of safes in stock, and they want to find the right one that's for you. Plus, gun safes are always sales tax free at Nashville Safe House, no matter what. And you can find the right safe for you. I promise you that. Fire rating, price point, everything. They've got them. Mark and his team at Nashville Safe House do a great job, and they have a better selection than any place on planet Earth. Go by and see them at 4th Avenue South in Nashville, or give a stop by on the website, NashvilleSafeHouse.com. That's NashvilleSafeHouse.com. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to the Safe House. Okay, campers, rise and shine. And don't forget your booties, because it's cold out there today. It's cold out there
every day.
Go ahead, Pamela.
Oh. Sorry about that, Sister Pamela Fur.
Nobody told Kid Weaver it wasn't his turn.
Well, it's cold out there every day, y'all. What is this, Miami Beach?
Well, not hardly. And you know, you can expect hazardous travel later today with that blizzard thing.
Yeah, that blizzard thing? Well, here's the report. The National Weather Service is calling for a big blizzard thing.
Yes, they are. And there's another reason why today is especially exciting, redheaded stranger.
It's especially cold.
Especially cold, okay. But the big question on everybody's lips.
Their chat lips.
On their chat lips, right? Do you think Phil's going to come out and see his shadow?
Time for Johnny Phil.
That's right, Woodchuck cheers. It's
Groundhog Day. Yay!
Hey, Pamela, Weaver's got my back. Jackson's anti this bit, but Weaver's got my back. Jackson's shaking his head.
Fun.
That's good. Hey, Pamela, how are you?
Hey, Matt. You know what? I have a very important question, though.
All right.
Is it Groundhog Day or Groundhog's Day?
I think it's Groundhog Day. The movie's called Groundhog Day. Groundhog's Day. Is it? Well, damn it! Now I don't know.
Just think about it. It is the Groundhog's Day. I mean, he is celebrated no matter what he sees. His shadow, his reflection in the mirror, whatever. It is his day. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, it says right
Maybe
here.
it's Groundhog's Day.
Ken's got it. Ken's got it. You can kill that music anytime you're ready there. We're done with that bit there, Jackson. You can just fade that right out. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
It says right here on ChatGPT that it is singular. Groundhog.
Singular.
Day.
All right, just making sure.
Okay. All right. How's things going with you?
For me, it's not going too shabby. I never lost power. You know why? Because I don't use NES anymore.
Well, that's great news. I mean, who knows what would have happened over in Old Hickory?
Well, I found out in my neighborhood I would have been without power for like 6 days.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, I feel very blessed, and have offered my washer and dryer to anybody that needs to do their laundry, which is an issue now for people. It really is. Anyway.
Well, Pamela, we're thinking about you. Come see us sometime. I got a guy that you're pretty familiar with coming up at 5 o'clock. You got any questions you want to ask him to Michael Lofty?
If he needs to do laundry, he's one of those people.
I know.
He's still without power and living in a hotel.
And one of those people that has no representative to speak to about it because he's in Williamson County. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. So
crazy. So I'm looking forward to hearing that at 5.
Well, thank you for having some fun with us.
You're welcome. Bye, y'all. Bye, Brother Weaver.
I see you, Sister Pamela.
I love Ken. Thank you. Ken thought he was up next.
I thought it was.
And I thought Jackson told him, but Jackson probably thought I told him. Or maybe Jackson is just boycotting the entire event at this point. Are you boycotting now, Jackson?
It's just ridiculous. Playing that damn song.
It's a good song, Jackson.
Tired old bit.
That's a good song.
Brother Jackson, that was a number one hit.
That was a smash hit. Sonny and Cher.
Woo.
I was in Matt's 30s.
That was a smash hit, and then Sonny Bono had another smash.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah,
What happened to him?
he what was he skiing, Ken?
He was skiing and ran into a tree.
Ran into
Did
a tree.
he die?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah, killed him. Hit his head and killed him.
How fast was he going?
He was
Fast
going.
enough.
Yeah. That's a great answer, Ken. Fast enough. It only takes a little. Let's talk to folks who want to talk about NES.
Yes, sir.
Who has been holding? Larry's been holding for a long time. Larry, what's going on?
Hey, brother. Thanks for taking my call. If I hear this DEI hire one more time say this is an unprecedented event, I'd like to take her back to 1994 when I lost my house and I had $95,000 in damages on my house. I had to live. I had my disabled mother-in-law, my 8-year-old son, and we were all packed in my little S10 extended cab truck that I had to pull out of my damn driveway and watch our house burn. I had to go knock on the neighbors' doors because the fire was so darn bad, Matt, that I was afraid it was going to catch their houses on fire. And, Metro Fire Department, and I don't even know how they did this. Metro Fire Department showed up within like 6 minutes of when I called 911. One of the firemen fell through the roof of my attic while they were trying to fight the fire. And I told the chief, I said, just get them out, man. I got insurance. And he says, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I do not want to hear that woman say again that this is unprecedented.
No doubt. No doubt.
I mean, Matt, the firemen were running through this house that was on, it was on fire. They were taking pictures off the wall.
When was this?
1994.
Oh, gosh.
The firemen were running through the house, taking pictures off the wall, throwing them on the bed, covering them with blankets and stuff so that we didn't lose, anything. But we had to rent an apartment for 3.5 months while they rebuilt this house. I don't want to hear her say this was unprecedented.
And you lived through it. You lived through the worst of it. And it's so insulting. It's so insulting, Larry, when she tells people like you that have lived through the worst imaginable pain that this has never happened before.
Matt, I had to. She was wheelchair bound, okay? So not only did I have to get her out of the house, I had to get my young son out of the house. I had to get all of her damn medications out of the house and into our little bitty truck at the time. I'm sorry I'm losing it, man, but I don't want to hear this woman speak again. I just don't. And then also, thank you, sir, for everything you did for my old hometown of Jordan.
Oh yeah, no, that was no biggie. Renee and Gary are good people, and I've not been able to respond to every single person that's reached out to me, but I think I've gotten everybody that I've found because there were a lot of different platforms. People were reaching out to me on Messenger. Some folks were reaching out to me on the X. Some folks have my email or some folks have my phone number. So if I've not gotten back to you, I apologize. I've tried to get back to everybody. There's been a lot, but that's the least we could do is to make people at least a little more comfortable with some heat.
Well, you left your home in northern Venezuela to come up there to help.
Don't, Larry, don't. You're feeding the bears. You're feeding the bears. Don't feed the bears.
Hey, Jackson, how'd you like that?
Loved it, Larry.
Larry, keep your chin up, brother. Just be thankful, and I know those memories are painful, man, and I thank you for calling in. That's tough to relive those memories. And that's the thing. Larry just epitomized the emotional response people have when he lived through that. One of the most painful times in his life was due to an ice storm, and you got this lady coming on the television every time she gets a chance to and telling us that, this has been an unprecedented storm, Ma'am, you're not from around here. So stop pretending like you are, and stop saying that it's unprecedented. It's not. We lost one Jeff, but we secured the second Jeff, and I'm glad that the second Jeff is now on with us. Hey, Jeff.
Hello.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm great, Jeff. Thank you for calling in. I'm sorry that you were so delayed. What's on your mind?
Well, talk about incompetence. They got 30 or 40 trucks from Louisville, Kentucky, and they've been parked all day over here in West Nashville.
And doing what? And doing what?
Nothing. Waiting for orders.
Well, that's weird.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, waiting for orders.
Yeah, I've had some listeners message me with some pictures of a bunch of trucks just parked. I can't remember where this one particular listener said, but there was a whole bunch of trucks just parked in a parking lot, and I don't know if that means they're on break and then they're heading back out. I wouldn't think they would.
No, I live out here off River Road, and they have been there all day. It's still there.
You know what it feels like, because we got a little bit of this, Jeff, on the front end, where we heard people, when the question started about why you only had 200 linemen, and then we found out, well, there's only 200 or so linemen that work with Nashville Electric. And then we heard about, we have to vet them, and we have to make sure that they're qualified, that they understand our system, that we have to put them through train, and like all of these excuses. And I'm like, ma'am, there are people with the power out. It's 9 degrees outside. What are you even talking about? And oh, by the way, how does every other electrical company in the United States of America manage to subcontract out some of these power linemen, and you can't manage to get it done? It doesn't make any sense.
It goes back to DEI hire, I guess. Because these people, they drove last night from Louisville, Kentucky. It's a Groves Electric Service. They got a whole bunch of bucket trucks, pole trucks, everything you need. And they've been sitting here literally all day waiting for NES to dispatch them somewhere.
I'm getting messages. I was just reading a message as you were talking, Jeff, that apparently the Bass Pro Shops at Opry Mills is one of the staging areas, and they are loaded up with trucks and workers, and these guys are waiting on what to do. Now, I understand you got to process them. I understand that takes a minute, but that doesn't take all day, especially when people are without power. You still have 24,000 people without power. 24,000 customers without power. That probably represents on average about 80,000 people that remain without power. So it's unacceptable that they're waiting this long when there are linemen available. And we heard this morning that from a tree standpoint that they seem to be ready to go. That at least most of the major thoroughfares have been cleaned of tree debris and the quote-unquote canopy that she so loved. So I don't – it just fit – the levels of bureaucracy that exist when we need to eliminate the red tape, eliminate bureaucracy, and get to the heart of the matter, which I'll applaud some actors in this. I mean, I think Bill Lee was trying to do that when he freed up T-Dot the other day, last week. But it makes no sense. Jeff, thank you for the call. God bless you. There are plenty of the linemen. Y'all are doing great work. Y'all need relief, and we want to get you as much relief as we possibly can and enough linemen out on the scene. I mean, by the time all the power comes back on, I guess we'll have enough linemen to get the power back on, won't we? I mean, right? I mean, I cannot express the simplicity of this. We have community after community, and we have looked at the reports. The amount of linemen that these areas like Atlanta and Charlotte and Richmond and Birmingham staged, even Birmingham, the amount of linemen that were staged in these areas are 5 and 10 times more than the linemen that were staged in Nashville. Doesn't make any sense. 53 after the hour on Super Talk. Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy. Let's talk about happier things like deliciousness that comes out of the Savory Spice location in Franklin and directly into your home, into your kitchen, then eventually into your belly. That's what it's all about, right? I'm talking delicious soups and chilies and spices and different, wintertime fare. I mean, man, oh man, is there anything better than a big pot of stew on the stove during the middle of winter, or a chili on the stove during the middle of winter? I mean, chili's so good this time of year. And you can get all of the fixings and all of the spices that you need to prepare these delicious meals at Savory Spice. I would encourage you to go to Savory Spice for a number of reasons. Number one, they're local, and I love that we keep our money locally. Number two, they have superior spices, bottom line, and you don't have to pay more to get better at Savory Spice. Number three, they have spices that they don't have anywhere else. So this is not your big box spice store, right? They have the types of spices, more exotic flavors that you're looking for. And number four, you can sample it before you buy it. And I love that too. And you'll smell it before you see it. Up your food game by upping your spice game. Up your spice game at the Incomparable. Savory Spice, located in downtown Franklin.
Mayor Freddie O'Connell has signed an executive order that puts a commission together to investigate NES's response and preparation for the winter storm. We'll let you hear all about that. And you'll hear him answer a question about whether or not NES is going to raise its rates to pay for the storm restoration. That's coming up at 5 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Okay, campers, rise and shine, and don't forget your booties because it's cold out there today.
It's cold out there every day. What is this, Miami Beach?
Not hardly, and you can expect hazardous travel later today with that, that blizzard thing.
Oh, that blizzard thing, that blizzard. Oh, well, here's the report. The National Weather Service is calling for a big blizzard thing.
Yes, they are, but there's another reason why today is especially exciting.
Especially cold?
Especially cold, okay, but the question on everybody's lips.
They're chapped lips.
They're chapped lips, right? Do you think Phil's going to come out and see his shadow?
Punxsutawney Phil?
That's right, Woodchuck Chuckers. It's Groundhog Day. Oh, that's enthusiasm. That's the way to do it. That's the way to get it done, Weaver. I love that.
I want one of those fat groundhogs, man.
Oh, well, we had one. We had
right.
two. We had two for a hot minute.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
You named it.
We had Gary the Groundhog and Glenda the Groundhog. And we assumed they had little babies. And we named them, too, although we never saw them. Okay, Jackson says it's time for the... Are you not happy, Jack? Jackson looks grumpy. Okay, we'll go to the news, Jackson, and we'll get to you later. It's time for the news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Round!
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now in Nashville, nearly 24,000 still without power 9 days since the winter storm. Tennessee U.S. Senator and gubernatorial candidate Marsha Blackburn telling WTN's Matt Murphy show leadership at NES needs to be replaced.
People are suffering and businesses have lost they haven't been able to open the door and people have lost their lives.
Well, it's going to be Mayor Freddie O'Connell's call, and here's what he told the briefing today.
Nashvillians, like us, are asking for accountability, and that's what we'll deliver.
O'Connell says the first part of that is the executive order he signed, forming a 9-member commission to investigate NES's response and preparation.
Today, I'm issuing Executive Order 58 to establish a 2026 Winter Storm Response Commission to review the comprehensive response to the storm.
Yeah, he wants findings on his desk in 6 months, but he wants updates along the way. The mayor was asked if NES is going to raise rates to pay for the restoration.
I've gotten no indication of that, but I think there are also a lot of things about the disaster recovery process that they'll have to go through. But right now, we've not had any indication that this would result in a jump in bills.
He was also asked about a 10% raise the 5-member Metro Electric Power Board approved for NES CEO Teresa Broyles-Applin in November.
We're going to put plenty of after action into this. The commission we're announcing today, I know for the NES board will want to review their own performance for this.
Meanwhile, Metro Water Service is a concern. Deputy Director Brent Freeman told the briefing water quality in Nashville remains safe. Every pumping station and reservoir are operating. However, thawing will cause main breaks, which could mean outages.
We have adequate capacity to address all of these breaks. We have repair crews that are assigned to every break, and we have crews on standby, and we have contractors that are available to step in and assist as needed.
At the time of the briefing today, he said they had at least 12 active repairs and were investigating as many as 14 other issues. Now, all this bad weather means we're about to start running into potholes on our commutes. TDOT and NDOT says they'll be out doing fixes, so expect those rolling pothole crews and the backups that come with them. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, we got the usual slowdowns building to go home, especially northbound 65 up to the northern split, eastbound South Loop over to 65, northbound 65 up to the South Loop. I'm seeing particularly slow traffic westbound 440 up to 40. Got a stalled vehicle off on the left shoulder, 840 eastbound at Horton Highway in Williamson County. I'm Ken Weaver.
Okay, campers, rise and shine. And don't forget your booties because it's cold out there today.
Hey, it's cold out there every day. What is this, the NES beach?
Not hardly. And you can expect hazardous travel later today with that, that blizzard thing.
Oh, yeah, I lost my script. Hang on. that blizzard thing.
That blizzard.
That blizzard thing. Yeah, that blizzard thing. Oh, well, here's the report. Yeah. The National Weather Service says it's calling for a big blizzard thing.
Well, they are, but another reason why today is especially exciting.
Well, it's especially cold.
Especially cold. Oh, okay, but the big question on Johnny B's lips.
My chapped lips.
Your chapped lips, right? Do you think Phil's going to come out and see his shadow?
Pop the Johnny, Phil.
That's right, Woodchuck Chuggers. It's Johnny B! What's up, brother?
Well, I am right now. I was going to nap, but you called me in. I'd like to thank my drama coach Bill Kay because I couldn't have done it.
Brother Murphy's
Those
always
classes
waking
really
people
paid
up.
off.
That's what I do. But you know what I think I'll do? I think at the bottom of the hour, I'll wake Dan Mandis up. What do y'all think? He's been in bed for half hour already.
Well, if you ever made it back home.
JB, we're thinking about you down there. Everything, you make it out of the storms okay, man?
Yeah, luckily we did. We never lost power. And, I hate saying that with so many people, hurting up in Nashville. I've been really praying for folks up there and hope things get back to normal soon. But with NES, we now know what it stands for, no electric service.
Oh, boy, you're said a mouthful there, brother. You're
Brother
right.
Johnny B,
Yeah.
you took proactive action around your homestead. You got rid of some trees.
Yes, I did. I got rid of, thank God I got rid of those Bradford pear trees.
Amen.
Because if I hadn't got rid of those, I would have had limbs all over the yard.
Man.
No question. Well, listen, we're glad that y'all are okay down there, and we're thinking about you. How's everything else going? Circling the Drain's doing great, brother.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you for that, and it would do even better if more people, get on and subscribe and watch it. You get Jay Harper all the time on this radio station, and of course Ken Cephas there, Ken Weaver, and Jackson, who just loves this bit.
You know what he did? He just walked out of the room.
Yeah,
Johnny
he just
B.
left.
He just left. That's how sick of he is.
I have that effect on people. That's why I've been married so many times. People just walk out of the room.
That's not true.
I think Ken Weaver has done the best because I listened. And I think Ken Weaver, Pamela did a pretty good job, but I think Ken Weaver so far has been the go-to guy for this bit.
Weaver has killed it. I mean, he's owning it. I mean, it's like I'm just talking to him,
Well,
right?
it's because I'm full of it.
He is full of it. He is full of it. It's true. He's full of it. Johnny
He
B,
is an honest man.
have you ever known anyone, or have you yourself ever eaten groundhog?
You know, I haven't, but I'm thinking now that we may go up and just take Punxsutawney Phil out and make beef jerky out of it.
Oh, listen, if anybody can make some delicious groundhog jerky, it would be Glenna.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, she definitely do it. So I think that's our plan. We're going to go up to Punxsutawney and get little Phil out, and, we'll just make jerky out of it.
Absolutely love it.
Because I'm sick of winter.
Oh,
me too, brother.
Oh well, we're going through the worst of it. We're on the right side of winter now. I kind of like it. I don't like the ice, and I don't like the power being out, but I kind of like a little snowfall.
Well, I mean, snow would be fine. You know, we could have snowball fights and all that stuff, but ice, no, man, we can't have any more of that.
No, sir. That's why we can't even have snow, because you can't risk it.
That's right. And the NES woman, she can kiss my eyes.
Johnny V, you know we miss you, and everybody. I mean, I'm getting inundated with people that want me to tell you how much they love you and how much they miss you.
Well, I love them. I miss them, and I appreciate you guys plugging the podcast. I really appreciate that. Just power to what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing, guys. You sound good.
I feel somewhat obligated to try to support the podcast because, you know, I did my best to destroy it by being on it, and I'm sorry for that. So.
No, I do that every day, buddy.
Well, I mean, it's on all the platforms, right? It's on the YouTubes and the Facebooks and all of that.
Oh, you can't miss it, man. And check out circleinthedrain.net because we got stuff that you can get. You know, caps, T-shirts, stuff like that. It's really a cool site. So check it out.
Well, we love you, brother, and we'll come see you. I'm closer to you now down south, so I'll come see you.
Yes, you are. There's no excuse now to just avoid me like Mandus does.
I'm going to tell him you said that when I wake him up in about 20 minutes, okay?
Well, please do, and tell him I love him and missed him.
All right, we'll see you, brother.
Love you, brother Johnny B.
All right, buddy.
Take it easy.
Take care, brother Ken.
There's JB. So somebody said that we needed to get some star power in on this thing, so there you go.
We finally got some.
There we got some star power. How about that? Speaking of star power, he walks into our studios. He is from AFP, Americans for Prosperity, but for our purposes here today, beyond all of the good work that they do in the General Assembly and all of that, he's here to talk about electricity. His name is Michael Lotfi, and he joins us in studio. In the absence, we had originally, now in his defense, and I'm not here to defend him, Lotfi, but they told me that he was 95%. And so I guess we caught the 5% that he wasn't. I'm talking about, of course, Mayor Freddie O'Connell, who tentatively scheduled to be on during this time. And I thought, well, you know what? If we're not going to get Freddie, let's get somebody that has a few things to say about good old Freddie.
The next best thing.
I wouldn't say that. What's going on?
Oh, man, we're tired.
I bet.
We're very tired.
You're without power.
No power for 9 days now. I don't even know what today is. Tuesday?
It's Monday.
It's Monday. Sounds like a Monday. Feels like a Monday. Yeah, man, it's been rough. It's been super, super rough. Our next door neighbor's house burnt to the ground. We've had
what?
Yeah, it did.
Oh no!
We got a phone call while we were at the hotel because a friend knew that we had a live wire on top of our house. Tried to call NES a million times. Tried to call the fire department. Tried to call everybody. You know, all they can do is try to call NES, and NES just couldn't care less. And so a friend knew that we had a live wire on top of our house, and so they saw our neighbor's house on the news, thought it was our house because they knew the street name, and we had just moved. You know, we've only been there for 6-7 months now, and so they couldn't quite remember what our house looked like, but they knew the street, you know, and they thought that it was ours. And so we were in a hotel and they had no idea. So we ran over there that morning and it was just must have been 100 firefighters out there trying to put it out. And then it caught on fire again that night. And so whatever they could have salvaged is completely gone now. And another car 2 doors down on the other side caught on fire, an electric vehicle that was damaged by a tree falling on it. I mean, it's like a war zone out there, man. I mean, it's crazy.
And but I have it on good authority that the NES has all of this under control.
Yeah, I mean, you ask them. I certainly haven't heard them apologize yet. Have you? Have you heard Freddie apologize? No, I haven't either. It's so funny. You know, he and the Metro Council control the entire NES board. Not one of them have taken any accountability for this themselves, and which, you know, is not surprising, I guess. But, you know, yeah, no. No apologies.
I mean, and you know, this Teresa Broyles-Applin lady, I mean, who was obviously, you call it a DEI hire. It was a horrible hire. I mean, this is a person that had no experience in electrical operation prior to her being hired as an accountant with NES. And that's fine. I mean, we need accountants, but we don't need accountants in charge of making decisions that could potentially cost people their lives.
Yeah, well, so it's funny, as I know some people that know her, and allegedly, you know, their opinion of her is not very high. They said that, you know, she wasn't that good at her previous job, and but she has a bunch of political connections, I guess, and somehow got put, you know, in charge of the nation's 10th largest public electricity utility.
Say it one more time for those in the back.
The nation's 10th largest public electricity utility. And this woman has zero.
And we had 200 linemen staged in advance of what was being called. Hey, this is a 20-year storm. Y'all need to be careful.
Well, no, Matt. It's an unprecedented storm. They've never could imagine this, even though there's so much precedent in history of these things happening right here in Nashville, and they all act like it was the first time in history this has ever happened. That no one could have ever guessed when it was literally being forecasted a week ahead of time.
It's an embarrassment, and more than an embarrassment, it's a tragedy, because you talk about the loss of property, and obviously there's a tremendous amount of property loss, but then the loss of life.
Yeah.
5, I think it is, in Davidson County, 23 statewide. I asked Senator Marsha Blackburn earlier today when she made an appearance with us a direct question: do we need new leadership? Does Teresa Broyles-Applin need to be fired? And she said, without hesitation, yes.
No, there's no question. She never should have been in the job in the first place. I mean, you're absolutely right. There's nothing in her resume to indicate that this was anything other than a DEI hire. And what has she done since she's got there? A bunch of clean energy, save the tree canopy.
Talked about canopies a lot. Yeah. Every interview I've seen with her, she talks about canopies. And what infuriates me is it's one thing to be all woke and, you know, worry, and that's fine. People like trees. I like trees. Everybody likes trees.
Oh, I love trees.
But if that's the way you're going to be, if you have a modicum of intelligence about how to do your job, then you understand that it is even more important. It is doubly, triply, quadruply important that you make sure that you understand what happens if you have that canopy.
Yeah.
And that is, you're more prone to ice coming down. You're more prone to limbs coming down. You're more prone to electricity.
Yeah, look, I'm an outdoorsman, so I actually love the fact that Tennessee, or that Nashville, is one of the greenest cities. I love that. I think that's great. But I also think that you have to use freaking common sense, you know, and you don't leave those trees in front of power lines, regardless of whether it's that's the other thing too, is we had the derecho a couple of years ago. You know, there's a massive windstorm. So whether it's wind that's bringing it down or it's ice that's bringing it down, I mean, it's common sense, but you know, these folks don't have a lot of that. But Senator Blackburn is exactly right, as she always is. This woman needs to go. She has no business, no qualifications doing this job whatsoever. And I'll take it a step further, Matt. The state of Tennessee needs to take over the board of NES, plain and simple.
We're going to talk about that in a moment with our good friend Michael Lotfy in just a second. I do want to go back, and I don't want anybody to think that I was being nasty toward accountants. 4432 says there are many accountants that can run companies. Financial experts go on to become CEOs. She's not one of them. You're right. I'm sure that there are many accountants that understand how to run companies, but certainly Teresa Broyles-Applin is not one of them, as evidenced by just the last several weeks.
Well, and there are accountants that grow up in that company and then become the CEO, right? I mean, like, this woman didn't grow up at NES. She's not been there for 15 years, you know, with an intimate knowledge of the company and so on. I mean, she doesn't have the experience at NES. She wasn't an accountant at NES for 15 years. You know, she was an accountant at a nursing home company.
Well, no, she understands crunching numbers.
Yeah.
And she understands how to save money on tree trimming. But sadly, we can't really point to where those savings went. Because they sure as hell didn't go to subcontracting out linemen prior to an ice storm.
To DEI classes. How many classes?
102
DEI
yeah,
classes.
I think
and weren't
Leahy
they talking
reported
about,
that over at Tennessee
DEI
Star.
Consultant that they had on the agenda, whether or not they were going to rehire the DEI or extend the contract of the DEI consultant in the middle of a stated national or a state of emergency. They're literally have on their agenda whether or not they're going to extend the contract for their DEI consultant. I mean, this is crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
All right, we'll take a few of your telephone calls. We'll get more from Lotfi, and we'll explore. He knows the halls of the General Assembly as good as anybody. We'll explore exactly what it would look like for the state to say, you know what, we don't think it's right for Davidson County to control the decision-making in things that affect so many different surrounding communities. It's 21 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's also Groundhog Day. What's up, friends? Matt Murphy for Cover Nash. Cover Nash understands that health insurance can be confusing. It's almost as if they design it that way. You know, Shane Ring and I have had that conversation. He's like, if you didn't know any better, you'd think that they're making it intentionally confusing for the purposes of making sure that they take advantage of their customers. Well, that's unfortunate, but it's true. And sadly, the Washington, D.C. is not going to make it any less complex. You know who does? Shane Ring and Cover Nash. He acts as your personal concierge. He can shop the entire marketplace. 75 different insurance programs, health insurance programs at his disposal. He'll find the right one for you at a price point for you. If you're self-employed, uninsured, or just tired of paying too much, friends, you need to call Cover Nash today. Go to covernash.com, covernash.com, or call 615-465-0023. That's 615-465-0023. Shane Ring can sit down with you personally or on the phone. He can walk through the best program for you, and he'll find something that's on your terms, not on the terms of the government. At Cover Nash.
Nearly 24,000 still without power 9 days since the winter storm in Nashville, when the Tennessee General Assembly is taking notice and they say they will act. We'll tell you about it at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Oh, yeah. Okay, campers, rise and shine. Don't forget your booties because it's cold out there today.
It's cold out there every day. What is this, Miami Beach?
Yeah, not hardly. You can expect hazardous travel later today with that, Jackson, that blizzard thing.
Oh, that blizzard thing. Oh, man, I'm sick of this. Every damn break, we're coming back with the same music, the same stupid intro, and it's worse. It's just every time it gets worse and worse, and I'm done participating in the madness that is this bit. It is driving me insane, and I don't know what I'm going to do next.
I don't have that on my
Ken
script.
Weaver.
Oh, well, here's the report. The National Weather Service is calling for a big blizzard thing.
Blizzard thing. There's another reason why today's especially exciting, Ken.
Especially cold.
Especially cold. Okay, the big
Especially dumb.
Especially. It's on everybody's lips except Jackson's.
Their chapped lips.
On their chapped. Jackson's.
I'll tell you what's chapped.
Easy, big fella. Do you think Bill's going to see his shadow Weaver?
Punxsutawney Phil?
That's right. Woodchuck Chuckers except Jackson. It's Groundhog Day. Are you going to be okay over there? I worry about you.
I'm done. I got my nincompoop, though. It's you.
Now you know how Phil felt. Phil Connors.
Yeah, he actually went through it.
I mean, he had to go through it. Hey, Ken, have you ever seen a study on they did an analysis on how many days he had to spend in that vortex, and it's like 10,000 years.
Whoa.
Well, because they analyzed how long it would take him to learn how to play the piano.
Yeah.
How long it would take him he learned French. You know what I mean? How long it took him he learned how to ice sculpt with a chainsaw.
Yeah.
I think the analysis it was 7,000 years or something like that. It's a long time. Michael Lotfi has been waiting for a long time. I'm sorry that I don't have a phone charger for you. I feel bad.
You should.
Lotfi asked me if I had a phone charger. This is how his week's going. He's got no phone. He's got no phone access, and I've got the new phone charger, not the old phone charger. And I'm sorry.
That's all right.
If anybody listening has a phone charger for Lotfi, he would appreciate it. All right, so let's. Can you give me the breakdown of what you think needs to happen here?
Yeah. So very simply, I've been talking with a lot of lawmakers. Don't know how far it'll go. We'll see. But I've been talking to a lot of folks at the legislature saying that this has got to change. Again, NES, Nashville Electric Service, is the 10th largest electric utility, public electric utility in the country. And it serves not only Nashville, Davidson County, but 6 other counties that touch it. Now, it's not the entire county, of course, but it serves, half or so or portions of 6 other counties that touch Davidson
including
County.
Williamson, where you live.
Including Williamson, Cheatham County, where I used to live, Robertson County, Sumner County, Williamson County, Rutherford County, and I've spoken with lawmakers in every single one of those counties that represent every single one of those counties, and I have told them flatly it is time for the state to take over the NES board, because it is absolutely asinine that as voters and citizens who live in these other border counties that are captured by the NES monopoly, because that's what it is, it is a monopoly, that we have absolutely no representation, no recourse whatsoever. That board is entirely controlled by liberal Freddie O'Connell and his left-wing lunatic city council. And this is the, again, 10th largest energy utility in the country, and leftists hate energy. They hate energy.
Well, and if you go back and watch this, this Broyles Applin lady, the CEO, every interview she talks about sustainability. Yes. Every interview she talks about renewability. Right. Every interview she talks about the canopy.
Yeah.
You know what she doesn't talk about?
generating more electricity,
for
so that
our
ratepayers will be able to pay less for electricity. We're so far behind China, Matt, when it comes to electricity. It's not even funny. Like, it's literally a national security issue as how far we are behind China, and when it comes to electricity generation, and yet you have, again, the 10th largest electric utility in the country, under total control of liberal Freddie O'Connell and his city council, and yet here are these other counties that are technically Republican counties, and we are completely captured by them with no recourse whatsoever. The state has to take over this board. I don't care. Like, I firmly believe that Nashville should still have some representation on the board, but so should the other counties. So what needs to happen is that every county that is serviced by this utility, you need to have a board member from each one of those counties, and not just somewhere in the county, but actually that lives in the service district of those of that county. Every single county, Cheatham County, Rutherford County, Robertson County, Williamson County, Wilson County, they all need to have a member from the board. The legislature and the governor need to have appointments on this board, and so can Nashville, because they're part of it too. I'm not saying they're not, but they don't deserve total carte blanche control over this monopoly that no one else has a choice but to live under.
Well, and I know he hates it. I call him Feckless Freddy for a reason, because he doesn't seem to be able to take a stand when the chips are down. He tried to for a hot minute when he criticized the CEO. Here's what I would love to see. I want to see the mayor of Nashville step out and say, based on the lack of leadership over the last 10 days to 2 weeks, I am calling on the CEO of National Electric Service to resign.
And the board.
And the board to resign. And we are going to work in collaboration with our partners in the region, and we are going to appoint a new board, and we're going to find a new CEO that can do the job.
And by the way, I'm the one who appoints the board, and the buck stops with me.
Yep. I mean, that is taking ownership, and that is taking leadership.
Yeah. So I've heard so far that there has been a bill proposed by some of the Nashville Democrats who are state lawmakers. Let me tell you, I have zero interest in their bill. I'm not saying it may be a good bill, maybe a bad bill, but at the end of the day, they're not going to do anything that's actually going to truly hold the mayor accountable. The only thing that will hold him accountable and the Nashville City Council accountable is if the state takes some ownership over this board, which, being that it is in fact a regional utility, the state has every interest in doing so. There's been some conversations about like the BNA, the Nashville Airport Board that the state tried to take over, and that's still going through court. But this is so there were some legal hurdles there dealing with like the home rule aspects of the Constitution and what a state can do when it comes to a city's operations and how the city functions. However, this is so different because BNA, the airport, is literally just inside of Nashville, right?
Yeah, it's in Davidson County.
It's in Davidson County. Like, again, that's still
serves everybody, but it is physically.
But it's physically in Davidson County. NES has a monopoly over portions of 6 other counties. It's totally different. So the state should have the ability to come in and take over.
Michael Laffey's going to stick around. We got Nincompoops coming up. We got your calls coming up 34 after the hour. I'm very late. I apologize. It feels like Groundhog Day that I'm very late like this. It's like it happens on a daily basis. My apologies to Ken Weaver. Here comes the news.
Full forecast traffic updates in 5 minutes. And right now in Nashville, nearly 24,000 still without power, 9 days out from the winter storm. Leadership in the Tennessee legislature ready to act. House Majority Leader, Portland Republican State Rep William Lambert telling WTN's Matt Murphy Show.
We're going to wait until we have everyone back online, that power is restored to every Tennessean, that cleanup is at least underway, and that we've mourned these 23 dead and hope and pray that no additional Tennesseans die from this. And then we're going to dig into this, and we're going to find out what happened, and we're going to do everything we can at the state level to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Now, Mayor Freddie O'Connell says the new commission he created will dig into what went wrong at NES.
I have not yet evaluated what our opportunities are between the clarifications of asking for resignations versus firing. But I also feel like we are right now focused. We had, NES board and executive leadership present yesterday, and I know they understand exactly how how clear I've been in my expectations for what's happening this week.
Channel 4's Hunter Hoagland with details on this new commission.
So 9 people, it's a mix of community leaders and experts in utilities, emergency response, and crisis communications will sit on this new commission. They'll work alongside the vice mayor and Metro Council's president pro temp. The mayor says he wants the recommendations as soon as possible, with a final report expected within 6 months.
NES says it now has the ability to let customers know when power's been restored through the residential service status tracker at nespower.com. Water issues are the next concern, but not the quality, according to Deputy Director Brent Freeman.
Water quality here in Nashville community remains safe.
And he says all pumping stations and reservoirs are working properly. However,
as the temperatures rise, for us, the emergency is not over.
That means thawing will cause water main breaks, which will mean outages, but he says they've got ample crews on standby to respond when and where needed. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. I-40 eastbound, just past Spence Lane. Police reporting a crash. There's a crash reported 65 northbound at Trinity Lane. We are very heavy going eastbound 440 over to 24. Then that continues eastbound 24. Westbound 24, a lot of brake tapping there up to 40 and then into downtown. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hey, friends, Matt Murphy here for the Glock store. You know, you've heard me talking about the Glock store for years, and I love everything that goes on in the Glock store. They've got more accessories than you can shake a stick at. They got all kind of clothing options and apparel. They got the shooting rooms. You can go to shoot270.com to find out more about that. And then, of course, they call themselves the Glock store. They've got every Glock imaginable right there in the showroom, except the Gen 6s. You know why? Because the Gen 6s are so darn popular, as soon as they announced that they had an order coming in, all the pre-orders got taken up. And so the 45s, the 17s, and the 19s, they came and they went. But new shipments coming in. They have rental options available, so you can test drive the Gen 6 and check out the new optic system, the RTF6 texturing, the trigger guard undercut, the integrated thumb rest, and, of course, the enlarged beaver tail. And when you do, you're going to want to buy one of these things. You pre-order, and as a gift to you, you just mention my name, Matt Murphy, you get yourself a free magazine on us from the Glock store. How about that? So go and test drive these Gen 6s. You'll absolutely love them at the one and only Glock store. They're located on Airlane Drive, just off of Elm Hill Pike. Elm Hill Pike is just off of Briley Parkway, and that's convenient to everybody. The Glock store, online at glockstore.com.
Oh, come on!
Here we go. Let's go. Jackson, shush up. Okay, campers, rise and shine, and don't forget your booties because it's cold out there today.
It's cold out there every day. What is this, Miami Beach?
Not hardly. And you know you can expect hazardous travel later today with that, that blizzard thing.
Oh, that blizzard thing. Oh, well, here's the report. The National Weather Service is calling for a big blizzard thing.
Yes, they are. But the other reason why today is especially exciting.
Especially cold?
Especially cold, okay. But the big question on everybody's lips.
They're chapped lips.
They're chapped lips, okay. Do you think Phil's going to come out and see his shadow?
Punxsutawney Phil.
That's right, Woodchuck Chuckers. It's Groundhog Day. And Dan Madness got up for the bit. Dan, what's going on, brother?
Can I go back to bed now?
I think Jackson wants to go back to bed now. Jackson is a little over it.
Do you know the first time that I don't know if you remember, the first time that I heard this, I think I just hired you.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, my God, what have I done?
Uh-huh. Yeah,
I didn't understand it, but now I get it. It's like Groundhog's Day every half hour on the show.
Yeah. No, you get it.
And by the way, I will also tell you that it was this bit that actually inspired me to finally watch Groundhog's Day. I'd never seen it.
What'd you think, Dan?
I love Groundhog's Day.
Yeah, it's good. Good.
I do. I'm like Punxsutawney Phil. I only come out like once a year.
Well, but when you do, everybody applauds, and they love you.
Not quite.
And they love you.
That's what, by the way, I didn't even hear what has Punxsutawney Phil. What happened today in Pennsylvania?
I think it was winter. I think that's what he announced was winter.
Okay, so more winter?
Yeah, everybody wants to go up there and kill him and eat him.
Yes, sir. He saw his shadow.
Yeah.
Did I hear you earlier talking about what Punxsutawney Phil would taste like?
I know people that have eaten groundhog. Actually, Michael Lotfie's in studio with us, and he claims that he's eaten groundhog.
It's really good.
Lotfie says it's good, Dan. So I know people that have partook of groundhog, and they claim that it's good.
Michael, does it taste like chicken?
I would say it's more like a pot roast veal type of taste, but it is also one of those things. Any game. It's all in how you cook it, right? And so, but it seems to me a little greasy, but it's good.
I was going to say, it seems to me like it would just taste a little gamey.
No, I wouldn't say really gamey. More, no. But again, it's just how you cook it, though.
Okay. You use ketchup with it, or like teriyaki sauce, or what?
A1, brother.
A1.
I have eaten, and this is odd because this is coming from a guy that's promoting the raccoon bill in the legislature. I've eaten raccoon.
No.
What? What are you knowing, Michael? I have.
You can't say that in Tennessee. That's like saying you're eating the state mascot.
I'm just being honest. I was 14 years old, and it was presented at a wild game cook-off, and I tried it. And
what did it taste like?
It tastes like what I imagine groundhog would taste like, which is kind of greasy. It was like a greasy.
No, you said raccoon, not groundhog. You said
that's
right.
I ate raccoon. Yes,
okay.
But I imagine that it tasted. like
it tastes like.
You ate T-Rack?
Yeah.
I've got a question for Michael though. Like, so he said it's like eating the state animal or whatever. But what if it's roadkill?
Ooh. Is it okay then?
Yeah, is it all right then?
Why would you? Yeah, I guess.
Some people do.
Have any of you ever been to the Nuts and Guts Festival in West Tennessee? Talk about some good eating right there.
You don't get this on Nashville's Morning News, everybody. I'll tell you that.
No, you
Dan,
don't.
have you ever been to the Nuts and Guts Festival?
Sure haven't, and if I had, I wouldn't admit it.
I will take all of you sometime.
They got frog legs.
It is on a Saturday. None of you are working. We'll have to, and look, most of you are not even from Tennessee. So I feel like if you're gonna call yourselves Tennesseans, you got to go to the Nuts and Guts Festival.
I did go to a Nuts and Guts event one time at a strip club in Aniana, but I'm thinking that was a much different thing. I think
it could be the same. You won't know until you come.
You'll know when we all go to the Nuts and Guts Festival, because on Monday we'll all call in sick.
Dan, while you're here, I mean, you've missed out on some of the fun. You took a couple of days off to help out family members, and I know you posted a little bit about that, but I know you're excited to get back tomorrow.
I'm very excited to get back tomorrow. I'm going to talk a little Freddie. Actually, talk about a lot of Freddie, just like you are, and NES, and the train wreckery that has been going on since it's been, a week now, a little bit over a week since the power went out for these folks, and it's still out. It is amazing, and I've got a lot to say on this. I've had a couple of Metro City Council members and also a member of the National Guard reach out to me and saying some really rough things about Mayor Freddie. I'm not going to talk about it now because I'm still lining up some things. But tomorrow there are some very scurrilous accusations coming not only from inside the Metro Council, which some have been well documented, some hasn't, but also from members of the National Guard and the State Guard. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow.
That's good.
Because I think Freddie O'Connell, he's trying to point his crooked little fingers toward the NES. But the reality is that he has been part of failed leadership for a long time.
One of the most frustrating things for me has been, Dan, and maybe you've seen this, has been watching these NES videos and the mayor and so on come out behind the linemen, and they put all the linemen in the videos, and I feel so strongly that they are using them as a prop, trying to hide behind them because they know none of us are mad at the linemen, and they say, "Oh, our linemen are working." No one's saying the linemen aren't working hard.
Well,
no one is saying anything about the linemen except you all, because you know that you can hide behind these guys and use them as a shield for your failed leadership. It's disgusting.
Well, so over the weekend, I did post a couple of things on Facebook about NES and the DEI and all that kind of stuff. And Michael, you're absolutely right. I had so many people saying, "Oh, you're criticizing the linemen," right? And nowhere in my silly little, 45, 50-second post did I say anything about criticizing the linemen. They are doing great work, despite the fact that it seems like, the failed leadership of the mayor in NES seems to be working against them. So you're right. If you criticize NES and if you're criticizing the DEI and you're criticizing the mayor, then people are using that as a shield to say, "Oh, you're criticizing the linemen." No, I'm not. I'm criticizing upper management. The linemen are doing great work.
Yeah. Well, and while we're offering friendly advice to Mayor Freddie O'Connell, the next time you try to go for the Oscar by putting on a little performance, by moving limbs around on television, might want to put on a hat and a pair of gloves, because anybody that's ever moved trees around, it was 20 degrees, Dan. He doesn't have a hat on. He didn't have a coat on. He didn't have any gloves on. It was like, how much longer did you actually move limbs? 5, 10 seconds after the camera stopped rolling?
Let me tell you what that was. That was get out of the black SUV, get over to the branch, move the branch a couple of feet, and then get back in the SUV. That's exactly what happened. Or a Prius, whatever.
Hey, did you see the Governor Lee, though, out there with an actual chainsaw?
Yeah, he was getting it done.
Could you imagine Freddie holding a chainsaw?
I
can't even imagine
a lot
it.
of bleeding out if you try to use a chainsaw.
All right, Dan, before we say goodbye, I've got this coming in from the super text line. This is very good, 2489. I don't know who this is, but this person says, Mandis coming in clutch with the Oscar-worthy performance. How about that?
Look at that. Well, you know what? Can I tell you? I'm going to be honest because everybody knows how I shame Spiral. So I listened to Weaver do it. I listened to Pamela do it, and I listened to Johnny B do it, and I listened to Ken a couple of different times. So everyone has done such a great job. I just didn't want to shank it. I've actually, just so you know, I've been practicing for like 15 minutes my lines.
You notice when Dan was breaking down who did well, he didn't mention you, Jackson.
Oh, well, I don't believe in this bit. I think it's dumb. I think you're just repeating the same thing over and over again to the same Sonny and Cher song that I've heard 100 times today, and I'm sick of it.
By the way, did you hear who won the record of the year? Luther Vandross, apparently, according to Cher.
What? Yeah.
Did you see that?
No, I did.
She goes up, and I don't. Maybe somebody else can fill in the blanks. But she went up to the Grammys, and she said the winner for the best record is Luther Vandross. And the dude's been dead for I don't know how long.
What?
Who was she trying to say?
Who was she trying to say?
Yeah, it was a song titled Luther Vandross.
Oh, and she, well, that shows you how out of touch she is.
Well, you know what? I felt bad for her. I didn't watch it obviously, but I saw the clips and such. You feel bad for her because she thought that the winner would be on a teleprompter in front of her, and apparently she saw Luther Vandross and she said that as opposed to the artist, and I don't know who the artist was that actually won, but yeah,
I don't know that I feel bad for her for this reason. Plastic surgery rots your brain, and obviously Cher has had way too much, and her brain has rotted, and that's on her.
She's got some banger songs, though, man.
Maybe instead of changing out all those body parts, she should have changed out the eyes.
Maybe so. That's a good point. What banger song does Cher have?
Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves.
If I could
Come on,
back
baby.
time.
They all sound the same. They all sound the same. Half breed.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go. Cher's a legend. Cher's a legend.
You know what? I would be willing to bet that Weaver actually likes, because he's very eclectic. I bet you Ken Weaver rocks If I Could Turn Back Time.
Oh, man, I could. As soon as you said it, Dan, it played in my head. Such a great song.
If I could turn back time, I wouldn't see her in that outfit.
Also, do you believe in love? Do you believe in
love? Oh, now we're all going to do our shares. Okay. All right, for more insane Cher impersonations, tune in to Nashville's Morning News tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Dan, thank you for playing along.
All right, see you later.
All right, see you. There's 53 after the hour. Super Talk. We're going to do nincompoops after the top of the hour. We got to kick it. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for Defend Systems. Defend Systems understands as a business owner, you want to protect your employees and you want to make sure that your business is as safe as it can possibly be. The bottom line is this. It might not be more dangerous today than it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Sure feels like it. And you need to be protected. You need to make sure that you are well trained in the unlikely event. And it is unlikely. I'll underline that. And Brink Fiddler at Defense Systems underlines that as well. It is unlikely that you will experience an active shooter in your life. It is highly unlikely that you will experience workplace violence or an emergency or an intruder plan that demands action on your part and the part of your staff. Or it is unlikely that you'll need to utilize rapid response medical training. But the possibility of these things happening to you is not zero. That's why hope is not a plan, folks. It is time to get trained with Defend Systems. He will train your staff at your specification to all of these types of events and much, much more. Call Brink and his team at Defend Systems. They're simply the best. 615-236-6484, 236-6484, or defendsystems.com. That's defendsystems.com.
Right now in Nashville, nearly 24,000 still without power, 9 days out from the winter storm. Tennessee U.S. Senator and gubernatorial candidate Marsha Blackburn weighs in. We'll tell you what Mayor Freddie O'Connell told the briefing today about leadership changes coming up at 6 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, Ken, you want to be DJ 1?
Yes, sir.
All right, go.
Okay, campers, rise and shine. And don't forget your booties because it's cold out there.
It's cold out there every day. What is this, Miami Beach?
Not hardly. And you can expect hazardous travel weather later today. You know, that blizzard thing.
Oh, that blizzard thing. Oh, well, here's a report. The National Weather Service is calling for a big blizzard thing.
Yes, they are. But there's another reason why today is especially exciting.
Especially cold.
Especially cold, okay. But the big question on everybody's lips.
Their chap lips?
On their chap lips, right. Do you think Phil's going to come out and see his shadow?
Punxsutawney Phil?
That's right, Woodchuck Chuckers.
It's Groundhog Day! Jackson looks so happy.
It's time for the news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
We just did it a half hour ago. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Right now in Nashville, nearly 24,000 still without power, 9 days out from the winter storm. In Tennessee, U.S. Senator and gubernatorial candidate Marsha Blackburn was asked by WTN's Matt Murphy if leadership at NES needs to be fired.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. When you look at whomever thought they were prepared for this storm, oh, yes.
Well, Mayor Freddie O'Connell says he signed an executive order that creates a commission to review NES response to the winter storm.
The commission will have the power to conduct hearings and request assistance from the Metro Auditor. They'll have investigative powers, including the ability to compel the attendance of witnesses and the production of records pertinent to the investigation of any hearing, and to administer oaths to witnesses.
So Channel 4's Jeremy Finley at the briefing questioned Mayor O'Connell on the NES CEO being granted a 10% raise by the board in November and whether rates are going to go up to pay for restoration.
The CEO of NES was approved for a 10% pay increase in November. Do you believe anyone from NES management should resign as a result of how this was handled?
This is going to be ultimately a question for the NES board, where we've only had 2 appointments this term. We're going to put plenty of after action into this. The commission we're announcing today, I know for the NES board will want to review their own performance for this. I think in the middle of the crisis, we're focused on getting power restored, and when we get there, we'll start to ask a lot more questions.
Will NES customers ultimately have to pay more on their bills to pay for this storm?
I've gotten no indication of that, but I think there are also a lot of things about the disaster recovery process that they'll have to go through. But right now, we've not had any indication that this would result in a jump in bills.
All right, so in addition to the mayor's commission, 2 Metro Council committees are going to meet jointly next week to investigate what went wrong, and reports say NES will take part. Meanwhile, a Tennessee lawmaker pushing new legislation after the deadly winter storm. You got Nashville Democrat State Rep Jason Powell, who filed the Electric Grid Resilience and Accountability Act. He says will require annual reliability reports, a public 10-year grid plan, and detailed after-action reviews following major outages. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Glencliff got a crash. 40 eastbound just past Spence Lane. Over here in the Gulch, Demumbrian just west of I-40. Bellevue, Highway 70 just east of Coley Davis Road. And looks over here eastbound, or rather East Old Hickory Boulevard at Randy Road. Got a wreck. And in Berry Hill, Thompson Lane just east of Bransford Avenue. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hola, amigos. Bien, campaste a levantarse y no oblien sus botines porque hace frío afuera.
Hace frío afuera todos los días. ¿Quién esto, Miami Beach?
Para nada. Y saben, pueden espiar peligros más tarde hoy con esa. Ya saben. Esa ventisca.
Oh, esa ventisca. Esa ventisca. Ah, bueno, aquí está el informe. El Servicio Meteorológico Nacional anuncia una gran ventisca.
Sí, la habra. Oh, that's my line too. Pero saben, otra razón por la que hoy es especialmente emocionante.
Mucho frío.
Mucho frío, ¿vale? Pero la gran pregunta en boca de todas.
Sus labios agrietados.
En sus labios agretados, ¿verdad? Chris que Phil Sabra llevera su sombra?
Phil el de Punxsutawney.
¡Ayes, marmotas!
Es
el día de la marmota! That is for our Spanish-speaking brothers and sisters. Look, I knew this would happen already. Sally's written in and says, why are you catering to the illegal aliens? If they watch Groundhog Day, I'm sure there's a Spanish channel they could go to. Well, Jackson seemed a lot happier doing it in a foreign language, so that's why we did it. It's 9 minutes after the hour. You got to laugh to keep from crying. There's a lot of things going on. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for indulging us in our fun Groundhog Day edition of the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We've had Senator Marsha Blackburn on. Believe it or not, we've done some important things. We had Representative William Lamberth on. Michael Lotvey joined us. We were tentatively scheduled to have Freddie O'Connell on. He was not able to make it. I got that announcement earlier this morning. A little bit confused by it, but that's okay. One would think that we would take the opportunity to lead and speak to the most people possible, and those without power are leaning on their radios to get information, and we're trying to provide a maximum amount of information we possibly can. We're going to update you in a little bit on where they are from a power outage standpoint. Obviously, there have been horrible mistakes. The tragedies of this day are and this week and this month are paramount, and we're going to figure it out. You okay in there, Jackson?
Yeah, somebody had texted in and said, can you imagine someone just driving around through Nashville and just randomly deciding to tune in?
Let's see what the news is.
TB said, you guys would make horrible illegal aliens. It's true. And then a bunch of people are talking in El Español, and I don't know if y'all can tell or not, but I don't speak Spanish. I don't know if you can tell. I don't speak it, nor do I read it. I think y'all should watch the Muffin Man scene in Shrek in Espanol. I'll tell you what. You know what I did, kid?
What's that?
A couple of years ago, it was we were stuck inside. No, this was when COVID had started. And I started watching the Spanish channel. I watched the entire movie The Lost Boys in Spanish, and it was much better. It was much better in Spanish.
How was it better?
Oh, it was fabulous. Oh, listen to the dubbing of hola, señor, el vampiro. Do not invito el vampiro inside-o.
Invito.
My version of Spanish is basically, Ken, you reverse the verbs and the nouns, and you just add an O.
Exactly.
On everything.
Yes.
So you no el vito el vampiro into your homo. Oh, wait. Oh, no. That's a different kind of movie. That's a flag on the play, boys. It's 12 minutes after the hour. We did not get to it last hour, but it's time to do it now. It's time for Nick Caboose in the news.
I'm winning that trophy.
Nincompoops in the news.
Ken, I don't know if you heard, but I won Friday.
Yeah.
But that created a 2-2 tie, and we had already decided that we play rock, paper, scissors to determine the tiebreaker.
Right.
Well, guess who won the tiebreaker?
So Jackson won it.
He did.
Here's what's funny. Last night I was talking to Mom and Dad, and they got into an argument over whether Jackson won rock, paper, scissors, or if you
That makes me feel so good.
Dad was going, no, I think Matt won it. Mom said, no, Joe Jackson won.
Well, Mama was right. Mr. Joe, I'm sorry, but Mama was right. Jackson bested me in a best 2 out of 3 in rock, paper, scissors. I won the first one, and then Jackson took care of business the second couple of times around. So Jackson is beholden of the trophy, and he currently beholden the trophy. And we're going to try to wrest that from his arms this week.
Yes,
I will start us off. Order of operation will be Matt Murphy, Ken Weaver, then Jackson Williams. And I start us off in Muncie, Indiana.
Whew.
A man charged with allegedly robbing a Muncie area Taco Bell is now in custody. Ricky Taylor, 33, was charged with attempted armed robbery, a level 3 felony, intimidation with a deadly weapon, a level 5 felony, and possession of methamphetamines, a level 6 felony. This fellow looks like he would be on the meth. He's a skinny one. I'm looking at his mugshot right here. And he's got one of those. He's got one of those eyebrow tattoos right over his eyebrow. I can't really make out what it says. Officers from the Muncie Police Department were dispatched at the 2200 block of Madison Street. Report of an armed robbery. The caller advised that Taylor went into the Taco Bell with a red mask on and a bright orange neon hoodie.
So he wouldn't be noticed.
That's right. Demanded that the employees open the till. According to court documents, the suspect was found at an AutoZone wearing the same clothing as he was wearing at the time that he robbed the Taco Bell.
Clever.
The Muncie Police Department asked the individuals at Taco Bell if the man had a weapon, and they said he did. He had a pair of pruning shears.
That'll get you.
Police found the pruning shears on Muncie when they apprehended him, and they also found half a gram of methamphetamine. Taylor was transported to City Hall to speak with officials when one detective asked if he used the pruning shears found in his back pocket to pry open the register. Taylor reportedly responded, technically, it's an intimidation. Technically, it's a robbery and intimidation because I threatened them. He was telling on them, he was like explaining to them exactly what he did and what charges should be leveled against him. For his pruning shears, neon orange hoodie wearing robbery, Mr. Taylor is an nincompoop.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Weaver.
Errant bus driver takes passengers for unwanted ride. A routine bus trip from New York City to D.C. took a harrowing turn for passengers when the driver reportedly decided to ditch their intended destination for a journey into the unknown.
Oh.
Happened a couple of weeks ago. As the bus neared D.C., the driver reportedly told the passenger that he, quote, has family to go home to and I don't have time to stop in D.C. He also repeatedly hung up on the bus company representatives when riders tried to get him to talk to them. Then, right around 10 p.m., the driver pulled off the highway, let everyone deboard there at a metro station, and flipped each passenger off as they collected their luggage. I'm the captain of this ship.
But individually?
Yes.
Boom, a boom. And you get one, and you get one, and you get one, and you get one.
Sounds like me when Matt leaves every day.
Yeah, he said, I'm the captain of this ship. After everyone was off the bus, the driver drove off. Passengers were ultimately taken to Union Station by a different bus. A customer support representative for the company Best Bus says the company's currently investigating the overnight incident and has compensated the affected passengers with full refunds and a voucher for a future trip. Here's the deal. It doesn't say anywhere in the story whether officers actually found the guy.
Well, I mean,
All it says is that Best Bus, we are investigating.
well,
That means
that's
they
good.
didn't find him.
That means they didn't find it.
That means he's on the run.
There's a bus out there somewhere on the run.
With a nincompoop driving.
With a nincompoop. Well, he's the captain of the ship.
The Captain Nincompoop.
Yes, sir.
Jackson, speaking of nincompoops, what are you wearing? Oh, you're wearing, you're regaled with your royal crown.
And my trophy.
All right, Jackson.
I have 2 nincompoops today. A quick one, and then my real one.
Well, you got to pick which one's the real one.
The second one is the real one.
Okay.
Local radio host, Madden's producer, over Groundhog Day prank.
Is that the headline?
That's a heck of a headline.
That's a great headline.
Right.
All right, are you ready for the real one?
Yeah, sure.
3 people, 1 dog displaced after Indiana man tries using blowtorch to thaw gas lines.
Oh.
What?
What?
Multiple people and a dog were displaced after an Indiana man reportedly used a hot flame to thaw the gas lines of his brother's house. According to a statement issued by the Indianapolis Fire Department, a 49-year-old man narrowly escaped injury after using a blowtorch to thaw active gas lines under a house, inadvertently setting the home ablaze.
Oh, jeez.
Goodness.
The man was working inside the crawl space in the rear of the home when the owner inside noticed a fire in the bedroom closet. Sparks from the torch found their way up an open chassis and into the house, fire official wrote. The homeowner, who is the man's brother, called 911 and evacuated the premises as fire rapidly spread. He informed emergency services that he was uncertain if his brother had exited the crawl space.
He burned his brother's house down.
Wow.
Firefighters from the Indianapolis Fire Department arrived to find heavy smoke emanating from the structure. They launched an aggressive attack on the fire while simultaneously searching for the man in the crawl space. Despite a language barrier complicating communication, firefighters discovered the man was unaware of the fire and refused to leave the crawl space, continuing his work. Firefighters successfully extracted him and he was unharmed. The fire caused significant interior damage and displaced 3 adults and 1 dog. The brother in the crawl space was thawing the pipes at the homeowner's request. He informed Indianapolis Fire that he was aware of the use of a blowtorch on active gas pipes, but noticed his experience as a plumber. IFD secured the gas supply to his home, and the fire was brought under control in 25 minutes.
So he didn't mistake them for water pipes.
No, he knew what he was.
He knew they were natural.
He knew what he was doing.
What? I say that fella's pretty lucky.
That's a nincompoop.
That's a nincompoop. Imagine being that dude's brother.
Yeah.
You're already letting him live in your house. Now you gotta. Did it burn down, Jackson? Did I miss that?
No, just significant interior damage.
Yeah. That's a rebuild. That's a rebuild. That's how we do it. You can vote Weaver.
Yes, sir.
You can vote Murphy.
No, sir.
You can vote Williams.
No, sir.
Vote for me.
Although Jackson's not been in a very good spirit today because of our Groundhog Day celebration.
Yeah, I'm tired of it, Matt Murphy. We're not doing it again.
You're doing it one more time. You got to do it one more. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We continue. Get on the phone line, 615-737-9986. Your call's coming up next. Obviously, it's cold and flu season, friends, and Grace Point Healthcare is here for you. Affordable, convenient, comprehensive medicine in a direct pay format. Winter obviously brings cold and flu, and it also brings weeks and delays if you're trying to schedule an appointment with your typical physician or medical office. When you're sick, you can't afford to wait to be treated. At Grace Point Healthcare, they don't believe in it. You're usually treated same day or next day, even with brand new patients, which is quite nice. They even do house calls when you're feeling too bad to leave the house. Grace Point treats the entire body with a comprehensive medical approach. Part of the reason that they decided to become a direct pay format, which you can obviously file with your insurance company for reimbursement, but the reason that they're a direct pay format, meaning you pay Grace Point, they don't want the insurance companies getting in the way of the way that they treat you, the way that they your relationship with you and your doctor, which is so important to them in Franklin. Go see them in the heart of Franklin. Call today, 599-6868, 599-6868. You really can't afford exceptional medicine at your convenience. I love the fact that they're a veteran-owned practice. I love what they're doing in Franklin, and I want you to go see Grace Point Healthcare, modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. Hi, friends. Matt Murphy with Eurofix. You know, one of the marks of a good parent, they warn kids about danger, who to trust, what to avoid, and how to make better and smarter choices. One of the things that I love about Eurofix is that they police themselves. They warn you of the dangers of going to other auto shops that are, let's just say, disreputable. And as a reputable shop themselves, they're going to tell you the full story. And policing themselves involves making it right if something goes amiss. It doesn't happen very often, but for example, Eurofix wrote a customer a $5,500 check back to the customer because they believe in doing things the honest way, the right way. Sometimes the other places, they just don't know what to do. They're not trying to hose you. They just don't know what to do on a repair. That's why Eurofix has the most qualified mechanics in the business. They make quality repairs at below dealer pricing, and they have since 1999. Get a free 15-minute no-wrench inspection and a 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty on all the repair work that they do at Eurofix, plus a rental car available at every appointment. Call 844-EUROFIX. That's 844-EUROFIX or myEurofix.com.
It's been there a while. Golf Club Lane, west of Hillsborough Pike. I'm Jay Harper.
Tennessee U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn and gubernatorial candidate isn't mincing words when she talks about what needs to happen at NES 9 days out from the winter storm. We'll tell you what Mayor Freddie O'Connell says today, coming up at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, hey, let's make them rednecks. All right, let's go. Hey, boys and girls, rise and shine. Don't forget them boots because it's cold out there today.
It's cold out there every day. What is this, Miami Beach?
Yeah, you bet your butt it ain't. Oh, you also know you can expect bad weather out there, bad travel because of that blizzard.
Oh, that blizzard thing? That blizzard thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, here's a report. National Weather Service calling for a big old blizzard thing.
You said it right, but you know there's another reason why everybody's all excited today.
Especially cold?
Especially cold, yeah, but big question on everybody's lips.
Chapped lips.
On their chapped lips. You said it. Do you think Phil's going to come out and see that shadow?
Punxsutawney Phil.
That's right, Woodchuck Chuckers.
It's Groundhog Day. You think we get a part on 911 Nashville with that accent?
Ken, you could. Ken Weaver wins the award today. I mean, Ken Weaver's getting it done. I mean, I love the enthusiasm. I love the acting chops. I mean, everything about it. I think, Ken, you got a shot on the Nashville 911. You know, Erica's on that Nashville 911.
She was.
I think her big episode's coming up, and I can't
really?
talk. Yeah, I can't talk about it. I was sworn to secrecy, but it's gross. Something happens.
Does she get hurt?
No, she's an observer to the hurt. Something happens in an office that is... Jackson, this is a dated word that will be lost on you, I feel like. But, Ken, you'll get this one.
Yes, sir.
Remember grody? Remember the word grody?
Yes.
Like, oh, my God, that's so grody.
That's grody.
That's grody, man. When I heard what happens on this episode of 911 Nashville, I thought, well, that's grody. So, y'all just wait for that. Wait for that. Jackson, are you not going to do this again? I need you, Jackson. One more time. One more time, baby.
Just one more time, Brother Jackson.
Just one more, maybe two more times. One, maybe two. But definitely one. But maybe two. I need you. Come on, Jackson. All right, so we want to get to Ken, I don't want to throw you a curveball here, but I do want to ask you, do we have any updates from NES on power outages?
Stand by.
This hour, yeah, because I think it might be a good time for those in their automobiles. Maybe they missed it at the beginning of the show. We're trying to reset. I mean, there should be a lot of finger pointing going on. There is a lot of finger pointing going on because NES leadership, they have failed the community that they serve. Absolutely failure. It's a failure. And heads need to roll. Marsha Blackburn said as much. William Lambert said as much. Matt Murphy says as much. And we need to reshape the way that we deal with Nashville Electric Service based on the complete and utter failure to their customers. It has now been over a week, and we are still seeing thousands of customers without power. What do you got, Ken?
Right now, 22,710 customers still without electricity.
Just too many. Too many. And in the meantime, great reporting over with Michael Patrick Leahy at the Tennessee Star. I think we've done some great coverage here at Super Talk 99.7 WTN. He's done a good job over there. Nashville Electric Service, under the leadership of CEO Teresa Broyles-Applin, since 2022, cut the amount it spent on contracted, quote, vegetation management. That's tree trimming. By more than $7 million in 2024, reducing one of the nation's top 10 municipal electric companies spending on tree trimming to far below the national average. In its 2024 annual report, NES showed that a significant reduction in the amount of money spent on contracted tree trimming services helped lead to a 6% decrease in the municipality-owned utility company's expenses. According to a table of expenses, NES cut the spending on contracted tree and grass trimming services by about $7.4 million, reducing it from $21.3 million in 2023 to $13.9 million in 2024. Is there any wonder that this happened? We're going to continue talking about this in just a moment. By the way, Ken.
Yes, sir.
I've got bad news for me and for you.
What's that?
Jackson has won today.
Because I'm for the people, and the people are tired of y'all winning nincompoops and this stupid Groundhog Day bit. It's time for the news.
It's time for the news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You heard the man.
6:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now in Nashville, 22,710 people still without electricity, 9 days out from the winter storm. Tennessee, U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn on WTN's Matt Murphy show, firmly in the yes column when asked if leadership at NES needs to be removed.
This is going to be up to the mayor. And I think it is time to do a revisit of how they are staffed and organized, because they had a great big miss.
Well, Mayor Freddie O'Connell today told the briefing he's created a new commission to investigate NES preparedness and response.
I've asked the commission to return their initial findings to my office as soon as possible, with a final boundary at 6 months, and to be in constant communication with us, providing regular updates.
Water Services, the next concern, with Metro Water Services Deputy Director Brent Freeman saying the more thaw we get, the more water main breaks, but he says they've got the crews ready to respond when and where necessary. Money News, Michelle Franzen.
Markets shook off wild overnight swings to end the day higher thanks to some help from big tech. The Dow added 515 points. The Nasdaq gained 130. The S&P grew 37 points. Stocks of companies that make computer storage helped lead the market. Airlines and cruise ship operators were also strong, benefiting from a sharp easing of oil prices. President Trump says he plans to lower tariffs on goods from India to 18% from 25% after India's Prime Minister Modi agreed to stop buying Russian oil. Gold and silver prices rallied back from severe losses. The Walt Disney Company, the parent company of ABC News, fell 6% after reporting a stronger profit for the last quarter than expected. It is because executives are warning of challenges that are keeping international visitors away from U.S. theme parks, among other things. January's jobs report will be delayed by the government shutdown.
That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, we got complete stop-and-go traffic eastbound 440 over to 24, and then that continues up to 40 there on 20, right there between the eastern split and where 440 and 24 merge. We've got a wreck on the right shoulder, 40 eastbound past Spence Lane. That might have something to do with that backup there, eastbound 440. I'm Ken Weaver.
Friends, it's Matt Murphy, and when I ask you what comes to mind when you think of home, you're probably thinking about, meals around the kitchen table, movie nights on the couch, the feeling of walking through the door and knowing that you're safe and sound and the world's troubles can be left behind. Home is where life happens. It's the center of your life, and at the center of all of that is your home's foundation. At USS, they understand how important the foundation is to your life and how much trust it takes when you need help protecting it. January is an incredibly wet month. Now we're into February. That's an incredibly wet month as well. We've seen all of this. Water starts showing up, and now we've got all of this ice on the ground, and all of that ice is melting, and the water's got to go somewhere. If your water's getting into places where it should not be, you need assistance in alerting you to the situation, alerting you to where that water's coming from, and helping you figure out how to stop it as inexpensively as possible. And that's where USS comes in. USS, that's United Structural Systems. They are problem solvers, have been since 1994. Homeowners simply trust them, and with good reason, because they do the right job the right way the first time. 615-488-7855. 488-7855 or online at USSTN.com. They guarantee their best at the one and only USS. We are hearing about mortgage rates that have finally come down a little bit, and maybe that's piqued your interest and you're thinking about making the move that you've thought about for some time. Well, I was in that boat. I was in that boat several months ago, and I finally pulled the trigger and made the decision. And one of the first calls I made was to my friend Mike at Accurate Mortgage, because I understand that they treat you the right way. You're not just a number to make a quick buck. They're only ever going to advise you to make a loan that makes sense for you financially. Now, even though rates have been a little bit higher and maybe even still be a little bit higher than your current mortgage, a cash-out refi can be able to save you a tremendous amount of money every month by getting rid of higher interest consumer debt if you have it. There's example after example for you, but I'll tell you, my example is a perfect one as well. That I understood that I wanted to get into a home that I could call my own. I felt like housing prices were at a place and the mortgage rates had gotten down to a place where it was the right thing for me to do. And Mike and his team at Accurate Mortgage, they treated me like family. Accurate Mortgage can be found online at AccurateMTG.com. AccurateMTG.com. Accurate Mortgage, NMLS 129944. Rates and terms subject to change. Equal housing lender. I strongly encourage you, when it's time to move, when it's time to refinance, let's use the best. Accurate Mortgage. All right, Jackson, come on now. You can do it. You want to be Jackson. If you do it one more, you can be DJ 1.
1 second.
You want to be DJ 1? You want to be DJ 1? I'll let you be DJ 1.
I'll do this only if you let me be DJ 1.
Okay, you can be DJ 1.
Okay, campers, rise and shine. And don't forget your booties because it's cold out there.
It's cold out there every day. What is this, Miami Beach?
Not hardly. And you can expect hazardous travel later today with, that blizzard thing.
That blizzard thing. That blizzard thing. Oh, yeah. Here's the report. The National Weather Service is calling for a big blizzard thing.
Yes, they are. But, there's another reason why today is especially exciting.
Especially cold.
Especially cold, okay. But the big question on everybody's lips.
Their chap lips.
On their chap lips, right. Do you think Phil is going to come out and see his shadow?
Puxatawny, Phil.
That's right, Woodchuck Chuckers. It's Groundhog Day.
4460 is written in. 4460 says, Murphy, new suit has called and is wondering why Jackson has already taken vacation Tuesday, February the 2nd, 2027.
Just went ahead and submitted that.
Is that true? That's mean. That's mean-spirited. By the way, congratulations, Jackson. You officially won the first day of Nincompoops in the News. I did all the tallying during the break. 0140.
It was a landslide too, brother.
It was a pretty good story, I'll admit. 0142 says, I'm still waiting for you to wake up Dan. LOL. Well, we did. We woke up Dan Mandis, and now he's back to bed. So all of that's well and good. For those of you wondering, the State of the State address is ongoing right now. Hey, jip a little bit of this. I got it on my system. You don't have to put it up on the screen, but go to, do you need a number? You need a number? Okay, let me give you a number. Hold on. I don't know what number it is. It's number 8. Number 8. If you put it over there on number 8, then you should be able to jip some of this. It is Governor Bill Lee. I just want to listen in on this. Talking about nuclear energy in the state of Tennessee, which I love. Governor Bill Lee, his final State of the State.
works at Oak Ridge National Laboratory, developing the next generation of nuclear power. That kind of legacy story is why Tennessee leads the nation. Please join me in welcoming Michael Wedby and honoring the legacy of the Wedby family to secure America's future.
All right, so we're just joining a little of Governor Bill Lee's State of the State as he addresses it in the General Assembly. We'll get back in on that if circumstances warrant. I've also got a situation that apparently is out of Morgan County. This is in Alabama, I guess, where there was a standoff with state troopers, and apparently the suspect is dead, according to WHNT. That's out of Huntsville. You can't hear it on the television. I apologize if you couldn't hear that. There's so many different things going on. You got YouTube feeds, you got TV feeds, you've got other social media platform feeds, you got the app feeds, and then you've got the radio feed. So if you weren't able to hear it on television, I'm sorry. But we were listening together with Governor Bill. I'm sure that I look like an idiot when you can't hear it because I'm just sitting here with nothing going on, with my finger up my nose or whatever. But I'm actually listening to things. So, there's Governor Bill Lee. In the meantime, we had Senator Marsha Blackburn on earlier today, and, she made reference to this response letter by the head of NES, CEO Teresa Broyles-Applin, reiterating the company's deployed linemen, vegetation management, other personnel enlisted to restore power. 22,000 customers remain without power as we speak. That's a rough estimate, obviously. I hope that your power comes on today. I hope that your power stays on forever, and I'm sorry that this has happened, but those responsible for figuring it out did not have it figured out. And as I indicated at the beginning of the show, I want to reiterate it now. This is not personal. I don't know any of these people. I don't know Teresa Broyles-Applin from Adam's House Cat. I don't know any of the other board members. Why aren't the board members speaking out? Why isn't someone on the NES board speaking out and saying that it is a damned shame what has happened and this is unacceptable? It is inexcusable that customers were not advised of what would be expected to go down, and it's inexcusable that we did not prepare better. It's just, it's inexplicable to me, and I had a hard time dealing with it over the weekend. Did you just, and I've been told a lot of anecdotal stories about Teresa Broyles-Applin that I'm holding to myself. I've been told the story, and some of you might have heard them. I've been told the stories of her showing out in fancy restaurants. I've been told the stories of her just speaking in unimaginable ways to her staff. I'll leave those to people closer to the matter that can speak directly to her actions and it not be hearsay or third-party information. But it goes to the attitude that we're now seeing. I described it last week as a Marie Antoinette let them eat cake attitude, right? Y'all remember the backstory behind that? And I might get some of the, I'm not going to get into the particulars because I might get some of them wrong, but the idea of the story is that the French were revolting because of the classism that existed in France. America's great experiment regarding democracy had everything to do with freedom and individual liberty and individual responsibility. The French, they pushed for democracy because of equality. It's the big difference between the genesis of our two democracies, that our democracy was founded on individual freedom, individual liberty, individual rights. Their democracy was founded on their belief that they demand equality amongst the classes. And so the lower class was very ticked off at Marie Antoinette and Louis XVI or whatever, 14th, I guess it was 16th. They were insanely angry because they were starving in the streets in squalor, and the elites were having lavish parties and just living lives of splendor. And when the revolt got to the point that it came to the castle gates, Marie Antoinette's famous quote was, "Well, then let them eat cake," as if cake would solve everything. As if, well, give them a little food and they'll go away and everything will be all right again, when obviously it was way, way beyond that. Well, Teresa Broyles-Applin telling us, oh, we've got 1,700 linemen now, and we've got this now, and we've got that now, and we've got vegetation crews now, and oh, we're doing everything the right way now. Well, one, you're not doing everything the right way because you're not communicating with people. Number two, it doesn't matter what you see now. It matters what you did then. And the hay is kind of in the barn in that regard. You chose in the last 4 years to not cut down the trees. You chose in the last 4 years to not invest in digging up the dirt and putting lines underground. You chose over the last 4 years to save money on tree trimming, $7 million last year. You chose to invest in things like sustainable and renewable energy and all that nonsense. You're an electric company. Your one job is to keep the lights on. That's it. And you didn't do it. Not only did you not do it, you did not seem prepared or willing to accept the fact that we had a situation on our hands that could significantly impact massive numbers of people. I don't pretend to understand in the ways that many listeners right now do how the electrical grid works, but I think I understand it better than the CEO of Nashville Electric. Huh? Based on her actions, based on her comments. And I understand that if you choose not to cut down trees that could impact power lines, when the ice comes in, then you're more at risk than even any of your neighbors who have done the cutting. If you cut $7 million out of the tree trimming budget, then eventually, if the ice comes, those chickens are going to come home to roost too. And that a basic awareness 8 or 7 or 5 days in would compel you to get even more linemen on board and to get them up to speed and stop making excuses after the fact about they don't understand our grid. Your grid's no different. So, no, it's not too early to say she's got to go. The whole board needs to go. Based on their absence, where are they? Look, you signed up for this. You enjoy the trappings of being on this board. You got to do some heavy lifting when the time comes. And apparently none of the people on the board are doing that either. That's a good question that 3704 writes. I know that the CEO, Teresa Broyles-Applin, I've seen where she makes somewhere in the neighborhood of $330,000 a year. Don't quote me on that exact figure, but it's in that neighborhood. That's the ballpark figure. I don't know what the board members make. If anyone does, I'd love to hear it. I've not seen the figure, and I've not looked it up. I'll try to find it if I possibly can. But that's a solid question. What are the names of the NSA? That's a solid question, too. Here, I'll tell you what I'll do. I will go and offer you the answer to that question. Board members are as follows. The chair of the board is Delta Ann Davis. Delta Ann Davis is the senior program advisor for energy, environment, and land use at Vanderbilt Law School. Casey Santos is the vice chair. Casey Santos is CTO of Caliber Collision. The three other board members are Clifton Harris. Clifton Harris is the president and CEO of the Urban League of Middle Tennessee. Robert McCabe is a board member who is the founder and chief banking officer of Pinnacle Financial. And Ian Prunty is a board member. He is an account executive at a company called Snowflake. I would love to hear from all of these folks. I do not know whether they're good at their jobs or not. They're in their regular lives. I'm certain that Robert McCabe is a fine chief banking officer. I would bet you that Clifton Harris is great at whatever they do at the Urban League of Middle Tennessee. And I'm certain that Delta Ann Davis is hell on wheels when she's offering a lecture at Vanderbilt Law School on energy, the environment, and land use. But they have been insanely silent, suspiciously so, when it comes to the response by management at NES. Now, none of this has anything to do with the linemen. None of this has anything to do with the hard workers that are on the front lines. Can I take that real quick? Let me take Vaughn real quick, who I believe is a lineman. Hey, Vaughn, how are you? Oh, hold on, Vaughn. Hey, I can barely hear him.
Well,
oh, there we go, Vaughn. Hey, how are you?
Good. It's called budget. We used to clean all the service switches and everything, and then they cut that out of the program. A guy 4 years ago died due to that fact because when he turned the switch off, it didn't shut everything off. They killed him, and they covered that up. So I'm retiring shortly, and everybody that retires, they don't replace.
Oh, what? Just saving money every way they can, huh?
Yeah, and it's killing us. And, we're not the bad guys out there.
No, y'all aren't. And obviously, I hope that this doesn't come off as an indictment on the hardworking people that are out in the field, in the trucks, in the buckets, doing the hard work. I don't want that to happen, Vaughn.
Well, I've been leaving my family behind, running 16 to 17 hours, trying to get the lines up and running because everything's on the lines. Look at Highway 70. It looks like a war zone. We're trying. And in the budget, like I said, poles, we're running out of poles. We have to borrow.
How many, where are we on poles now? It's over 600, I think.
Yeah, and we don't have that many. They keep everything low.
What would you say?
Everything low.
How long did you say you worked for them?
35 years. Fix and retire.
What's been the big change? I mean, has it just come in the last few years, or has it been a slow, progressive change to we're worried more about saving money than we are about serving customers? What's the deal?
Yeah, it's been slowly creeping up. I don't know if you heard about the report when the other guy that was there buying steak dinners, $900, wine, and all that going out of town. We were pretty fed up with that. A big shot up there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you are.
And it just, every time you turn around, it's we're on a shoestring budget. We used to be able to buy the gloves that we needed, the safety equipment that we needed. Now it's more and more, it's getting less and less.
My goodness.
So, yeah, I'm retiring. I had enough.
Well, I can't say as I blame you. I mean, that's but I wish you the best, and let your fellow linemen know that our discussions are primarily about those that are doing the hard work as opposed to, those that aren't making the good decisions in the boardrooms as opposed to those doing the hard work, okay?
Yeah, and just tell the people out there we're trying.
I know you are. Thanks, Vaughn.
Yep.
All right. Appreciate you, brother. It's 55 after the hour on Super Talk.
Hey, this is Pastor Al, and join us on Super Talk 99.7, Sunday evenings from 7 to 8. We're going to look at the news from a biblical perspective.
So it's been a little over a month since you made that resolution that you were going to lose weight. How's it going for you? If it's not going as well as you had hoped, might I recommend a big-time belly buster special with Contours? Contours LLC. $99, friends, and you'll get the Belly Buster package where you get to walk in, you experience the incredible red light technology that will help you lose the fat and lose the inches, and it works. I'm a testimony to it. I walked in, and I'll admit, I was a little suspicious. I didn't know what to expect. Talked to Keith and Stephanie and the rest of the crew over at Contours, and they discussed with me exactly how the technology worked. It's pretty fascinating. They can talk to you about it as well. It is non-invasive. It does not hurt one bit. the results are instantaneous, where you will feel lighter. You will lose the inches same day. I walked in and I lost 2.67 inches on my midsection that day, that first treatment. And you can too. As a matter of fact, they guarantee 2 inches of loss or the first treatment is free. Ask them about the Murph, which is a special that they're running right now. I've gone through the process and I know that it works and it'll work for you as well. For both guys and gals, what do you have to lose but inches? 615-236-9960. 615-236-9960 or ContoursLLC.com. That's ContoursLLC.com. Like they say, what do you have to lose?